Hello everyone, I am back with more Vampires the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. Maru is here with me. Yeah. I was going to turn off my ringer. That's what I was doing. I should turn off the vibrate too. One over there. Alright. I've got my matcha super green tea with honey here. And hopefully that will be enough to combat the possible sore throat that I will end up having. When we last left off, let's see, we went and saw Tamika, right? Tamika? Gangrel. And almost fought what I thought was a werewolf. It was not. It was a gangrel that let the beast take over, so they were more wolf-like, a wolf-like vampire. And then we went and saw Hope, and we were in a car accident and killed a guy. So that was fun. We ran an errand for Kaiser. Attempted to find our stalker. I think we scared off a reporter. We did a lot last time. So, with that being said, we'll load up Vita here. I will take my mouse back, thank you very much, and I will set my timer. So, we'll put it at, there we go. There's my timer going. Alright. That way I remember to take my breaks, because I'm terrible at that. Alright. You come back to your haven after a long night out. Right before you open the door, you notice something strange. Boy, I need to eat. The sounds of television are coming from your apartment. Mad Men, if you're not mistaken. I wouldn't know that because I've never watched Mad Men. You open the door and carefully peek in. A young, disheveled woman is curled up on your sofa. She has a blanket pulled on top of her and seems very comfortable. Next to her lies an obviously unconscious, preppy woman. Hello, Crazy Blue, how are you? Oh, you're home. I don't even know who you are, and I don't like you. I don't like it. The woman reaches for the remote and puts Mad Men on pause. You weren't home, so I started without you. You know, Netflix and chill. Join me. There's space on the sofa. I brought us a snack. Stressed out but alive. That's fair. I'm doing pretty good. Already having trouble reading. Good job there. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good. It was an easy day with dogs. It was a rainy day, so enjoying some matcha super green tea with lots of honey. You brought us a snack. You didn't enjoy the one I gave you before, but this is a different type. I didn't even sample the last one you sent. I told him to leave. The woman points lazily to the unconscious girl. Oh, I forgot. My name is Adelaide. Took me a second, but yes, Adelaide. Adelaide Davis. I like you a lot. Help yourself and settle in. Are you a Malkavian? Your eyes are like glowing, like flashing, glowing. Okay. Let her down gently. Thank you for all you've done for me. Still, the sun is coming up soon. You don't want to get caught here. Oh, that's so sweet. I don't mind. I can spend the day with you. I mind. Somebody might come in. We should go on a proper date first. You're a season ahead of me, I think. We should go on a proper date first. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Adelaide bounces up, clearly caught up in the idea. The door to your apartment opens. Someone with a key. Sophie. Adelaide Davis. The curse of Snug Harbor in the flesh. This is a new low for you, fledgling. Adelaide looks at Sophie murderously before fading from view. I hate it when they disappear. They should have enough manners to slink away in embarrassment so we can all enjoy it. Sophie waits for Adelaide's shape to leave the apartment before she speaks. The Clan of the Moon. Did I not advise caution when dealing with them? As you watch, Sophie makes a phone call. 10 minutes later, 2 of her servants arrive to remove the unconscious girl sprawled on your sofa. You clearly need my help. It won't happen tonight, but let me see if I can resolve your stalker problem for real. You're left to wonder what Sophie meant by that as she leaves your haven. Clan of the Moon. Wouldn't that be gangrels? They usually don't wear their animals. Just saying. The hunger calls to you. The city's skyscrapers, the seemingly never-ending sprawl of the boroughs, it's all a prison. You need to get out. You need to take back control of your life this instant. The memory of your sire's frosty blue eyes mocks you, tempts you to show your dominance, to prove you have the guts to take what you want. Okay, I feel like I've read this before. If someone... Please take me out back and bury me. I don't want to be an adult anymore. I fucking feel that, but no, can't do that. That is, felony. That's a felony. Just saying. That's a felony. Okay, we read this before. Yeah, it's... Okay, so, I already went and seen the ladies. Yeah, we went to see Agathon last. So we'll go see Faith and Myth Part 2. Benoit Segal. I'm just going to call him Ben. Ben wants to meet you again at the cathedral. You wonder whether that mysterious priest will be there. Oh, I need to rest. I thought that... I'm sorry, I thought that's what we were doing. I thought we did that. Okay, fine, whatever. And now there are more. Somebody's watching part 3. You've had enough of Adelaide. It's time to head for Elysium and confront her. Sophie by your side. Well, that's part 3, so we'll do that in a bit. Let's finish part 2s first. Fine. At least can I have some nuggies, a blanket, and some Chucky milk? Yes, you absolutely can. I can't get them for you. I would if I could. But yes, you can absolutely have some chicky nuggies, a blanket, and some Chucky milk. Because sometimes that's what we fucking need. You started to look at churches differently since your last encounter with Ben. You're not sure what happened inside, but it was unavoidably real. You felt it. When Ben mentioned that being in the presence of Father Anthony's faith would eventually kill someone like you, an undead being, you believed him. It doesn't seem to be very common, though. In New York, you pass thousands of people every night, and none of them have made you feel so afraid and insignificant. If you were to encounter someone like Father Anthony in the subway or a nightclub, you would know. There are many churches in the 5 boroughs, and you're pretty sure most of them don't contain someone whose faith can touch you in that way. Yet you've become wary. They just might. Still, tonight the cathedral looks as before, a striking landmark acting as a symbol of faith for people who have no idea that vampires exist in their midst. For them, questions of faith and myth are theoretical or philosophical. For you, those same questions suddenly define the meaning of your new existence. You sneak into the cathedral like an old hand, as if going to church had been a regular part of your life. Inside, the cathedral is almost deserted. You're not sure if you'll be meeting Ben alone. The idea of feeling Father Anthony's faith on your undead flesh freezes you with terror. Ben is waiting for you in the front pews of the cathedral, in the exact same spot where you saw Father Anthony. Worried, you approach, but you don't feel the touch of faith that shook you before. Ben nods at you as you sit next to him in the pew. Blah. Aren't you worried? I have so many questions. Many kindred wonder what we are. I have so many questions. I thought a lot about our last meeting. There are so many questions, and I'm not sure where I can find the answers. I could tell you some things, but you'll grow dissatisfied with me and want to find answers on your own. That quest will never end. You've had some time to think. I'm guessing you found the touch of Father Anthony's faith hard to ignore. For most people, God's presence is a question of faith. When I talk with Father Anthony, it feels like proof. Then is fervent, intense as he speaks. It's clear these questions have consumed his existence. Perhaps they'll consume yours, too. I can't stop thinking about divine purpose. This is kindred culture. What does the Camarilla believe? What do the kindred of the Camarilla believe? The old ones. It's true the elders are not always so good at teaching their children. Maybe the Camarilla would function better if we all knew these stories. Ben looks around reflexively to make sure nobody is listening. There are only a few people in the enormous cathedral, and they don't seem to be interested in two loners murmuring to each other in the front pew. It might seem like ancient history, things that happened thousands of years ago. But time works differently for our kind. If the stories are true, there are Methuselahs still in existence who walked the earth when Jesus was alive. The only problem is that old vampires lie. They adjust history to suit their egos. You can talk to different elders. Surely something was written down. Let's focus on what we can verify. Shouldn't we focus on what we can verify here and now? Our blood, the effects of Father Anthony's belief? I suppose that would be the scientific approach. Still, I can't let go of the idea that the old stories will tell us something. This is how the story goes. God cursed Cain as punishment for the murder of Abel. Cain walked the night, shunned by humanity, and drank blood to sustain himself. Even from the point of our origin, we are damned. However, the story becomes really interesting when we move forward. Cain creates more of our kind, often referred to as the second generation. They lived in the first city, later called Enoch, ruling openly over the city's human inhabitants. I see the first city as Cain's redemption. Cursed by God to wander, he remade himself as a ruler and lawgiver, acting as an immortal shepherd to humanity. It only started to go wrong when the second generation begat the third and the vampires started to run amok. So the third generation, what happened to the first city? Vampires ruled openly over humans. Oh, my nose is itchy. Vampires ruled openly over humans? Yes. According to the stories, Cain was a benevolent and just ruler, using his vast knowledge to bring a new age of prosperity. Of course, those stories were written by vampires. After the first city, Cain largely departs the story. Perhaps he was disheartened by the depredations of his descendants. Sorry, it kept moving in a weird way. The antediluvians went on to build a second city, in imitation of the first, but it's doubtful their rule was just. There are people moving in the cathedral, and both you and Ben have made sure none get close enough to hear you talk. Many of the people you've seen have been elderly or disabled, so it's not surprising that you hear the squeak of a wheelchair. What alarms you more is that you overhear an older woman speaking with a Russian accent, mention Father Anthony. Let's find Father Anthony and see if he can help us. From what I've heard, he is an exceptional man. You turn around to see two men and a woman. All three are in their 50s, clearly well worn by life. One of the men pushes the woman in a wheelchair. She's dark-haired and intense, seemingly only half in this world. Yeah, exceptional. But he doesn't like moles. The speaker is shorter of the men, more animated and worried. He was probably a strong man in his youth, perhaps even an athlete. His voice carries a Midwestern accent. You're only interested in whether he likes blank bodies. Clap. You and Ben look at each other. This is bad news. Whoever these three are, they can't be good for you. We need to get out. Let's meet outside. Move discreetly to the side. Better not to call attention to yourself. You decide to move to the side of the cathedral and pretend to pray at an altar. You walk casually towards the side, away from the three approaching mortals. You feel their eyes boring into your back, but you force yourself to be cool. Ben is nowhere to be seen. You blinked and he disappeared in a burst of speed. You're worried it was too conspicuous, but maybe the mortals missed it. You pretend to admire the architecture for a while before glancing back at the trio. They have settled at the exact spot you just occupied, apparently waiting for something and conversing in hushed tones. Once you're sure their attention is elsewhere, you start walking briskly down the side aisle towards the exit. That was a close call. Who were those three? Fuck you, Ben. You were quite fast. Who were those three? Did you recognize them? I might have. I'm not sure. There's talk of a few tenacious vampire hunters living in the city. One of them is supposed to be a woman in a wheelchair. For a second, Ben looks at you as if he was wondering whether he should say something. There's one thing I've always wondered about the story of Cain. The traditions of the Camarilla put a lot of faith in the relationship between sire and child. You're supposed to follow the example of your maker, yet Cain didn't really seem to care for the vampires he embraced. Did he think it was a mistake to create our kind? My sire left me. We should make our own way in the world. Do kindred care what Cain thinks? My sire left me. Is that common among the kindred? Yes, unfortunately. The kindred are selfish and cruel. You know, I'm Sophie's child, and you're her protégé. It's amazing that we share an appreciation for the mythologies of our kind, considering Sophie has little interest in questions of the spirit. Oh, okay, I didn't realize you were one of Sophie's. Interesting. Because she didn't mention you. You stare at Ben. You knew there was something he wasn't telling you. But in all the talk about Cain in the First City, you forgot about it. Now the only question is, what does this mean? Does Sophie know her child is talking to you? Probably not. No, she probably does. Don't hold it against me. But I admit finding some pleasure in seeing you suffer the effects of Father Anthony's faith. I suppose that's the demon in me. That's not cool. I'm not your enemy. I understand that you're bitter, Ben. I'm not your enemy. I'm sorry. I know that. It's just that sometimes I, too, get tempted by sin. You know, we should meet again. We've talked so much about myth, but maybe that's cowardly when the reality of faith is right in front of us. I'll introduce you to Father Anthony. You nod, unsure whether that's a good idea. Ben walks away, and you follow his example, not wanting to hang around the cathedral any longer. Yes, I know, I'm hungry. I will feed when you give me the chance to. All right. Nosy reporter. See, we'll go feed on this guy. The weather is cold and windy as you walk to Sophie's apartment. As a vampire, that doesn't matter anymore. You may have been saddled with eternal hunger, but at least you can ignore the wind chill. Just as you come to the door of Sophie's building, she storms out, murmuring into her phone. Yes, I know. Don't worry. I trust you to handle it. You've heard Sophie talk to her associates before. Always the same. Generalities and vague suggestions. It makes you think she's involved in mysterious machinations, yet doesn't tell you anything. Sophie is dressed to kill, but there's nothing unusual in that. She likes to make an impression. A black car with tinted windows is waiting for her in front of the door. The chauffeur steps out to open the car door for her. Sophie notices you. I'm glad you're in the neighborhood. If you could look around for me one more time, that would be wonderful. You told me you'd gotten rid of that reporter. Turns out he's still here, snooping around. Sophie is very good at communicating disappointment. She doesn't have to do much to make it clear that she's unhappy to have to return to this issue. Okay, I thought I fixed that. I thought he was. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. After tonight, he won't trouble you anymore. Good. Don't disappoint me. The reporter talked his way into the building during the day. Once the doorman understood what was happening, he threw him out. He showed old pictures of me to my neighbors. It's very awkward, you understand. I told him to destroy those. Sophie disappears into the car, and the chauffeur closes the door behind her. You watch as the sleek vehicle disappears into the Manhattan traffic. Just one anonymous car among many. Let's sit down somewhere and devise a plan of action. You go to a nearby diner, settle into a booth, and order a coffee from the steely-eyed Latino waitress. As she brings you your cup, you describe Frank Daughtry to her, on the off chance she's seen something. Just as she's about to answer, you happen to look outside. Something catches your eye. The diner is brightly lit, so you lean closer to the window to see the street through it. You got lucky. Frank is standing on the sidewalk on the other side of the street. He has something on his phone. You slide out of the booth, throwing a few small bills on the table, mumbling something to the waitress. You step outside. Follow. For a reporter, Frank isn't terribly observant. You keep your distance, hiding behind people and cars. But he doesn't look around. It seems like he wants to find a private nook to inspect the photos he took tonight. An alley. He ducks in and you follow. Oh God, it's you again. Please, I'm working on a different story, I swear. Frank retreats deeper into the alley. Let's have a friendly chat. In that case, you won't mind a little friendly chat. I'm all about being friendly. Okay, I'm sorry I tried to bullshit you. Just tell me how I can help you. I thought we agreed there's no story. Your employer trusts you too much. Why are you here? I thought we agreed there's no story. How come you're here? I thought we agreed there's no story. Usually when someone says there's no story, that means there is a story. I just couldn't let it go. Look, I don't want any trouble. I can see that you're serious. There is something to Sophie Lang. I think you know what it is. You take a long, hard look at Frank Daughtry. He's a tenacious man, but not brave. After the last time you met, you were sure he had been dealt with. Where did he find the courage to come here again? Is this worth paying? What's your real angle? Don't you have better stories to chase? What's your real angle? I like you, Frank. You don't give up. What's your real angle here? Everybody plays an angle. It's one of the things you learn in my profession. You're smart. You know that there will be others after me. If there's a real story, they'll come and find it. Your best shot is a friendly reporter. Someone you can trust. Someone like me. How do I know I can trust you? So what do you say? Get ahead of the story? It'll be good for you and Miss Langley, too. You almost believe it, but something about Frank feels off. You have a personal interest in this. Is this about blackmail? Trust in your blood to convince Frank. I wanted to eat him. You don't say anything at first. easy to dismiss Frank as a joke. A has-been. Yet there's something beneath his talk. Another story. A moment of silence is all you need for your presence to properly register in Frank's mind. He's too weak-willed to resist. Someone's leaning on you, Frank. Come clean. What? No, absolutely not. Frank's voice sounds shrill. You know you got it right in one guess. Sometimes I just need some extra money, that's all. Where does this extra money come from? Now we're finally getting somewhere. Was that so difficult, Frank? Now we're finally getting somewhere. There's a guy. He's paying me, that's all. But I can't talk about that. Push him for information. Come on, you can give me more than that. No, really, even I don't know all that much about these people. What do your instincts tell you? You're a reporter. What do your instincts tell you? I'm not sure. I can't get a handle on them. I don't think it's blackmail or a business rival or an ex. Okay, that's enough. I can't tell you anything more. You've got to consider the position I'm in. We're not done. Fine. I'll leave her alone. I'm done with this. It was all bullshit anyway. You can tell Sophie Langley that you won't see me anymore. As Frank leaves the alley, you consider your victory. He sounded defeated, sincere. Is it really up to him whether he returns or not? Yes, I know. Okay, I know. I was going to feed on him, but you only gave me the option once. The gift that keeps on giving. It's been a while since you heard from D'Angelo. Maybe he's busy, sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. Or maybe he's pissed off the wrong people and is now rotting in a ditch somewhere. Either way, now's as good a time as any to check up on him. Oh, nope, I need to rest. Never mind, I lied. We're gonna go rest. We'll take a nap now. Sophie requests your presence tonight, and it seems urgent. You find her already waiting for you and clearly pondering something. It takes a few minutes of awkward silence before she speaks. I require your assistance, Vita. There is a matter of great importance that I need to ask you to resolve for me. You will find what I'm about to say surprising, I'm sure, but I need you to hear me out. I need you to contact an important anarch figure in New York City and arrange a meeting for us. Aren't meetings with anarchs forbidden? Wait, I'm pretty sure we are not supposed to meet with anarchs. We're at war, right? The prince does look unfavorably at those who meet with the anarchs. That much is true. You will find that with this, as with many other things, the Camarilla policies have more than their share of hypocrisy inherent in them. It comes hand in hand with using medieval power structures. What we are forbidden to do, the prince may do willingly. Some of these things can be done in the open, while others are kept secret, as not to invite discord and discontent. I need to contact a man named Torque. He is an influential member of the movement, and, like most of them, very suspicious of the Camarilla. That's why I'm sending you to extend my invitation. How do you know he'll talk to me? Why me? Why not go yourself? What are you scheming? How do you know he'll talk to me? How do I know he'll even talk to me? He won't. Not yet, anyway. You need to start further down the chain and with the right story to spin. From my limited sources adjacent to the movement, I've gathered that your best chance to speak to Torque is to first meet with his right-hand woman, Mia. She's a regular at a club called the Leech Pit. I think it would be best if you presented yourself as an anarch hopeful, a fledgling looking for a place to belong. Only after you talk to Torque directly should you mention my name in the meeting. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know, it sounds risky. Lying to them won't make them trust me. I don't think that's the right approach. Lying to them won't make them trust me. When they find out the truth, they won't be happy or eager to work with us. That might be true. But if you tell Mia outright that I sent you, she's likely to cut you off. She hates our sect, and it will be difficult to make her listen to reason. After tonight, I suggest that we do not speak of this again until you arrange the meeting. There are many who would jump at the chance to use this against us. With Kaiser, you have proven you can get the job done, even if it requires additional legwork. I trust you to deal with this task as quickly and covertly as possible. Forgive me, but that's all the time I can spare tonight. What I'm asking of you is just part of a bigger whole. Trust me, it will all be worth it. I'll do my best. I know you will. Check with Gregory for the address of the leech pit. Have Mia introduce you to Torque. When she does, tell him I wish to meet him. Let him pick the time and place, but let it be soon. If he proves too guarded, tell him I have something that will help him gather allies against Boss Callahan. That should pique his interest. Good luck, and obviously not a word about this to anyone else. Not even any new friends you might have made in recent nights. This stays between us. The way she says that final sentence suggests a not-so-veiled threat, but her warm smile belies that impression. You want her to keep trusting you. You wouldn't want to disappoint her. Gregory gives you the address. The club is in Brooklyn. Apparently, it's some kind of heavy metal bar with a dedicated concert space. Time to pay this Mia a visit. The place is teeming with people tonight. You arrive in the middle of a concert. The music is loud, almost deafening, and it takes you a while to get used to it. This is not your scene at all. You can barely focus through the noise, but you grit your teeth and decide to bear it. The sooner you find Mia, the sooner you'll get out of this hole. A group of a few dozen patrons are tightly packed together, and the smell of their sweat and youthful, excited blood overwhelms you momentarily. It's with some difficulty that you turn to the task at hand. You've heard your share about the Anarchs and how they fit into kindred politics, but you only have a short encounter in Corona Park on which to base your actual opinion of the faction. That might have been just a horrible first impression, but you're keeping your guard up, just in case. Feeding opportunity. First things first, the atmosphere of this place is distracting you, with the beast nagging to be fed. If you're to put your best foot forward, you'd best get that need out of the way temporarily. The place brims with opportunities. You decide it might be easiest just to grab a somewhat drunk concert goer that strikes your fancy and see whether they'll be willing to indulge you. Sure enough, you chat up a tipsy patron and hit it off quickly, augmenting your charm with the power of your blood in the interest of time. You don't catch her name. She'd been waiting for her boyfriend, but he hasn't shown. She was pretty much ready to dump him anyway, so hey, here's to new beginnings. Another vodka shot disappears down her throat. She kisses you on the mouth. It's super sloppy, and the alcohol in her breath is overbearing. You take the chance and kiss her neck, then bite down. Yeah, her evening's drinking definitely colors the way her blood tastes. Alcohol and melancholy. Not a combo you're unfamiliar with. Somebody smacks you on the head and rips you off the girl just as you lick the wound closed. He throws you to the ground. Uh-oh, it's the boyfriend. The argument they get into as your victim seemingly immediately sobers up gives you the chance to mix in with the crowd now dispersing. With the now dispersing crowd, The concert is over. A hand on your shoulder. You instinctively tense up and prepare to dodge a punch. Instead, you come face to face with a lanky woman in a jacket 2 sizes too big for her frame. Well, you don't look too much different from Adelaide. Follow me behind the bar, Lick. I've got a few questions, and you'd better give me snappy answers. You know what's good for you? He leads you through the bar to a back door that leads into a side room. Indie metal band posters are plastered on every wall, some of them 20 or more years old, judging from the tour dates. An old, sticky table and some rickety chairs are the only pieces of furniture here. Sit down. Sure. Why don't you sit down? I think I'm comfortable. Sure, I'll sit down. You take a seat as the woman leans against one of the walls. The name's Mia. I'm guessing your visit here isn't a happy coincidence. I don't know you, so you're either new in New York or kept an outstandingly low profile. Both sound suspect. So before we take these pleasantries further, answer me this. Who do you run with? Camarilla, but I'm looking to switch. Damn it, I've fed. Why am I still hungry? Camarilla, I guess, but I'm looking to switch. Is that so? She looks you up and down. Hard to read her. Okay, sure, I'll bite. But let's get one thing out of the way. She leans in. If this is some clever ploy to oust me from my domain, or if you're just here to spy on me and the movement, I'll make sure that you don't enjoy undeath much longer. Got it? You can tell it's a purely rhetorical question. Right. Here's the pitch. The Camarilla likes to think they're the vanilla option, but the prince bitch Panhard pretending that they were always in charge. But New York has never been a fully cammy city. They might have won the city in '99, but cams have had their asses handed to them many times over the years, and the movement has been here at least as long as they have. Hell, I moved to New York City before World War II, and that was a good while after I saw the Camarilla for what they are. A way to keep us all subservient and in line. Ivory Tower will tell you they're the only safeguard for the traditions. And that's kind of the problem. There's only one tradition we in the movement feel should be respected. The masquerade, obviously. Everything else? Ask the prince and she'll tell you it's the logical continuation of the masquerade. But really, it's just a way to keep the elders powerful and in control. Grimaces. But here's the thing. For all the talk of us bloodsuckers being solitary creatures, we need a community to keep up the masquerade. Community, yes. But authority? Not so much. We need a council of peers to keep the assholes and power-drunk fledglings in check. But not a feudal prince to tell you where to feed or to hunt down when they step on their toes. Takes a brief break from her indignant rant. So you anarchs don't have a ruler? Sounds too good to be true. Structure is good. It brings order. So you anarchs don't have a ruler? A ruler? No. But leaders? Sure. Must follow old boss Callahan's lead. Most, but not you, so I should talk to Callahan. Is Callahan like an anarch prince? Most, but not you? You make it sound like it's most, but not you? Yeah, not me. If you're concerned about being well received in this city, you might need to go through Callahan. But if you're serious about the anarch cause itself, he's not your guy. Callahan eats up fledglings like you and shits out self-preservation. His position as Baron is mighty shaky now, not least due to the fact that he's backstabbed more than his share of allies. So, he's doing what any old fart in a position of power would do. He's doubling down. Negotiations are out, intimidation is in, tightening ranks as a precaution against the Second Inquisition. She surprises you by hacking and spitting on the ground in disgust. If you spent some time with the Cams, that should sound very familiar to you. He's no better than Panhard and her cronies are at this point. No, you need to contact Torque. And wouldn't you know it, it's your lucky night, because I'm the lick to do it through. Why Torque? Torque, huh? Why him? Because he's one of the good guys, or at least as good as we leeches can be. Torque is a leader, a local baron who's overseeing a small domain, but doing a very good job of it. Callahan knows this, so he's giving him shit. Torque is taking it like a champ. He's smart like that. For one of us rebels, he's got the patience of a saint.
I truly believe water can solve all our problems.
Thank you for the hydrate, Crazy Blue.
You want to lose weight? Drink water. Exactly. You want to have clear skin? Drink water. Yes.
It's tea, so
really
it is hydrating.
Someone drown them. Oh my god.
I'm gonna need you to do some stretches.
Oh, my elbow cracked. Ow. I stretched. Stretch. Okay. Alright. He's smart like that. For one of us rebels, he's got the patience of a saint. Makes you think back to how things used to be way back when, if the stories are to be believed, anyway. You want to meet him? I'm going to require a show of goodwill first. What do you have in mind? Or I could just ask elsewhere. No way. What do you have in mind? That's fair. What do you have in mind? She flashes you a mischievous half smile. I appreciate your readiness, but I don't have the details just now. Ask for me at the bar when you're able. I'll leave something for you, and we'll take it from there. Now come on. I gotta go. She walks you out of the bar, and you go your separate ways. Seems like there's nothing more to do than return here later and see if Mia really can help you contact Torque. Okay, cool. Right, I need to go see D'Angelo. So let's go do that real quick. I haven't seen him yet. You make your way through the now familiar rusty maze of the grain terminal and up the stairs to D'Angelo's office. This time, however, you find the room firmly locked. Excuse me. There's a note pinned to the door. You rip it off and scan the crooked lettering. There's been another one. At the scene now. Come to Bed Stewie. Corner of Halsky and Gravy, ASAP. Looks like D'Angelo could use your help. Better get going. As you approach the address D'Angelo gave you, a squad car passes you. Sirens blaring. Following it, you make a turn from DeKalb Ave onto Pulaski. Goodness. Sure enough, the street is awash with red light, and the 4 or so police cars parked on the nearest corner, next to an ambulance, confirm that you're in the right place. You move closer to what appears to be a New York's finest convention, looking around in the hopes of spotting a familiar, if not altogether pleasant, face. No such luck. True to his Nosferatu lineage, D'Angelo is nowhere to be seen. You stop on the sidewalk across the street, trying not to draw attention to yourself. All of a sudden, one of the cops standing by the entrance of the building looks straight at you. He does a double take, and you instinctively look away. Bad move, you think to yourself, as you notice him making his way toward you. Calmly wait for him to approach. Not allowing to panic set in, you stand your ground, doing your best ordinary citizen. The cop waddles across the street towards you, his sense of authority putting that extra spring in his step. You try to remain calm, even as he puts his hand on his holster. Shit, you can't help but mouth the words. This is about to get messy. Suddenly he stops, as if instinctively realizing that he was just inches away from a grisly demise. He waves at you dismissively and yells in a thick Brooklyn accent. Hey, this here's an active crime scene. Be on your way. Relieved, but trying not to show it, you put on a grumpy New Yorker face and start to walk away. As you make your way past a dark alleyway, someone grabs you by the arm and pulls you into the shadows. If the smell of cigars and cheap cologne don't give him away, the gravelly voice sure does. Nice save. I mean, dumb to show your face around here in the first place, but still. Come on. I'm parked around the corner. Before you know it, you're sitting in the passenger seat of a busted old sedan parked half a block away, giving you a nice view of the police gathering. That seems like a dumb idea. Let me talk to them. I'll get us in. Why don't I talk to them? I might convince them to let us in. Gives you a look as if you just let rip a massive fart. Right. Look, kid, it's not that I don't trust you, but how about we give that raw animal magnetism of yours a dry run, huh? Pretend I'm one of the cops guarding the entrance. Convince me to let you in. Poses a detective. Evening, gents. Detective Kowalski. Looks like I'm late to the party. Mind filling me in? Kowalski, huh? Never heard of ya. What precinct? What's your CO? Exactly. Maybe you're right. Of course I am. So, what else you got? I don't think we should feed. Do your shadow skulky thingy. How about you do your shadowy skulky thingy? Maybe you can find some way to let me in from the inside? Shadowy skulky thingy. Jesus. Childish phrasing aside, it's as good an approach as any, I guess. Without another word, he gets out of the car and heads for a nearby back alley. You watch in silence as he disappears into the shadows. A minute passes, then another one, and another. You begin to worry. What if there were more cops inside? What if your moldy partner has gotten himself into trouble? Suddenly, a shadowy silhouette appears in one of the windows on the second floor. Looks like he made it after all. At least, you hope it's him. The shadow waves at you and points to the corner of the building, opposite to the two cops. You get out of the car and quietly make your way towards the alley. Sure enough, you find that a fire escape ladder has been conveniently dropped for you. Good work, Dee, you mumble to yourself as you climb to the second floor. Finding the crime scene proves easy enough. You just follow the yellow police tape, and before you know it, it's standing in the middle of what used to be someone's living room. The place has been completely trashed. Knocked over furniture, shattered glass, the works. Looking around, you notice a sign scribbled on a nearby wall. It reads, "His gift, our fate." You're no expert in typography, but the crooked letters look similar to the ones you saw back in Red Hook. Sure enough, there's very little in terms of blood, save for the occasional stain that's bound to end up on the carpet once you toss someone through a glass coffee table. D'Angelo leans against the doorway. He seems lost in his thoughts, sucking on his cigar compulsively, mumbling to himself. You lean over a bit, trying not to make it obvious that you're listening in. You manage to catch the last few lines of his monologue. The night's been kind to them so far, but the questions keep piling on, and now they found themselves amidst the wreckage of another life. It was up to them to sift through the debris and come up with a neat little pile of answers. Suddenly he tenses up, as if sensing your eyes upon him. Feel free to chip in, kid. Anything catch your eye? Another piece of graffiti. No blood, same as before. This place is a mess. Another piece of graffiti. His gift, our fate. Yeah, there's that. What do you think it means? About Cain? It seems apocalyptic. About Cain? His gift? Isn't there a theory that Cain was the first vampire? Oh, it's more than a theory. To some, It's a deeply held belief. And yeah, you're right. It's about the gift of Cain. As in vampirism. Our fate. Clearly, someone wasn't too happy to receive it. God damn it, I hate where this is going. Why, it looks like you were right. Why, the thin blood angle seems to check out. It looks like you were right. Yeah, well, this time I'd rather be wrong, alright? Anyway, looks like we're not getting any more out of this place. No way around it. We gotta see the body. Are you protecting thin bloods? You have a thing for thin bloods, Dee. Because it looks like you're desperately trying to prove that they're not involved in this. Look, kid, the Duskborn have shitty luck as it is. If I'm going to accuse them of breaching the masquerade, the least I can do is some goddamn due diligence. Yeah, that's fair. He shoots you a scornful look. Like a goddamn detective. He mumbles to himself for a short while, but ultimately he regains his composure and his train of thought. Luckily for us, I might know someone who could get us an audience with our dearly departed. To your surprise, he pulls out a cell phone, a busted old clamshell. He flips it open and spends a good minute browsing through the contacts, muttering to himself. Finally, he makes a call. Hey, you know who this is. Yeah, that favor you owe me? Time to deliver. Listen, I know you got a fresh one. The murder in Bed-Stuy. I need to take a look. Yes, now? Yeah, you'd better. With that, he hangs up and gives you his trademark wiry smile. Aren't cell phones forbidden? Are we good? So, are we good? Yeah, we're good. I don't understand why cell phones would be forbidden. That seems fucking stupid. Next stop, Kings County. Like, if you want to blend in as a human, you would have a fucking cell phone. And, like, how many phones does fucking Hope go through? Kings County, the bleeding heart of Brooklyn. It's beating as hard as ever, with ambulance after ambulance bringing in sick and wounded New Yorkers to be pumped through the tight arteries of the healthcare system. It's a dangerous place for a kindred to show their face, incessantly crowded and full of people who specialize in noticing all sorts of physical afflictions, especially the sort that make up the very essence of a vampire's existence. For instance, death. Thankfully, your business here tonight keeps you away from the hectic human hive of the ER. Instead, you follow D'Angelo to a relatively quiet part of the underground parking lot that's closest to your current point of interest, the Kings County Morgue. Having found yourself a convenient and suitably unlit spot near the hospital wall, you patiently wait for D'Angelo's contact to appear. Every now and then you glance out at the undead gumshoe, as if to make sure his moldy mug isn't showing any signs of worry. It isn't. Or at least he's very good at hiding it. Finally, after 30 minutes or so, a lone figure emerges from a side entrance. As the human-shaped shadow walks by, you're quick to recognize him as the EMT you saw back at the murder site. Clearly nervous, the 20-something-year-old redhead can't seem to help but look back and make sure no one is following him. Finally, he stops and lights a cigarette. Without even looking in your direction, he takes a puff and exclaims seemingly to no one in particular, "Room 112. You got 20 minutes. D'Angelo speaks without looking at you. That's our cue. You follow the fanged detective through the same door the EMT walked out of. Luckily, this wing of the hospital seems unusually empty. Still, the confidence with which D'Angelo makes his way through the white and green corridor makes it clear. He's been here before. Finally, he stops in front of one of the doors, room 112. That's your stop. The room is small, with only one oversized freezer by the wall and a single slab mounted in its center. Sure enough, the body of a middle-aged man is splayed out on the steel surface. Even for a dead man, he seems unnaturally pale. Extreme blood loss will do that to you. Try as you might, you can't help but look at the man's face, his features twisted in abject horror. This was not a peaceful death. Looking closely, you notice two small puncture wounds on the victim's neck. If ever there was a clearer sign of a vampire attack, you've yet to see it. Looking over at D'Angelo, you notice his lips moving in a familiar fashion. He's narrating again. Before he can utter an intelligible word, you cut in with a remark. Sucked dry, like the last one. Are those teeth marks? Look at his face. Are those teeth marks? Those marks on his neck. Is that what I think it is? Yep. Good eye, kid. It's official. Our killer is Kindred. Look at his face, though. Sheer terror. He was fully aware, all the way through. Killing aside, no kindred worth their salt would allow that to happen. Unless they didn't even know better. This confirms it. We're looking at a thin blood. Fuck. As if on cue, the door swings open. A tired-looking man with a stethoscope around his neck walks in. With his eyes fixed on his clipboard, he doesn't appear to notice you. Yet. Oh, I really want to take the feeding opportunity. Letting your instincts take over, you pounce on the unsuspecting doctor, plunging at your plunging your fangs into his aorta. The precious liquid tastes sickeningly sweet, making you feel a bit lightheaded. It appears the good doctor has been getting high on his own supply. That was my timer. I want to finish this section before I take my break. Get back to the... I'm feeding. Why? No, you're supposed to go away. It takes you a moment to get your fill, but when you're finally done, you immediately feel D'Angelo's eyes upon you. You start coming up with an excuse, but he just smirks. You're quick, kid, I'll give you that. Beat me to it by a pube. Ow, my fucking elbow. That hurt a lot. Oh, my hand's numb now. Went to fucking facepalm and ended up smacking my elbow right on the corner of the fucking desk. Oh, it hurts. Okay. Now, come on, let's get out of here. Time to pay our dear Primogen another visit. Robert Larson's home looks about the same as last time. No added security, no angry dogs prowling the yard. It appears the thin-blood Primogen would rather risk another visit from his old pal D'Angelo than arouse suspicion of his family and neighbors. Which is good, considering that's what he's about to get. Sure enough, the light in Larson's study is on, and you even catch a glimpse of the man himself shuffling around in the room. You look over to D'Angelo, Jesus fucking Christ, wondering how you're going to get Larson's attention this time. Without a single word, D'Angelo walks over to a nearby street lamp and leans against it, making sure he's visible to any and all who happen to look. Looks like time for subtlety is over. It only takes a couple of minutes for Larson to take notice. You see him lean against the window and storm out of the room. In mere seconds, he's in front and in D'Angelo's face. Listen to me, you moldy fuck. I've had just about enough of your shit. You want to pester me? Fine, but leave my family out of it. For a moment, D'Angelo just stands there, motionless, allowing Larson to get his frustrations out. Suddenly, he grabs the thin blood by the collar, lifts him off the ground, and smashes his back against the lamppost. Are you finished? All right. You listen to me, and listen good. You think I'm enjoying this? You think I like to be jerked around? You think I got nothing better to do than hang around this little puppet theater you've made for yourself? Now, either you give me a lead I can follow, or I'll start remembering things you'd rather forget. For the first time since you met him, Larson looked speechless, his eyes wide with fear. He'd only mutter under his breath. You wouldn't dare. Try me. Cue awkward silence. You stand there, shifting your eyes from one vampire to the other. Guess it's time to either press the advantage or play the good cop. Come on, Larson, spit it out. Take it easy, D'Angelo. Let's all just calm down. Calm down. Come on, Larson, spit it out. Just give us something. It's been a rough night. See, Robert? My assistant here is tired of your shit, too. So, what's it gonna be? If you want my help, put me the fuck down. With his feet back on the ground, Larson straightens his collar in a faint attempt at preserving some shred of dignity. There's a place in Manhattan, Lower East Side, one of the few places in the city where my people can find shelter. Yeah, I know it. If you go there right now, you might find what you're looking for. D'Angelo stares at him for a moment, just long enough to make it uncomfortable. We'd better. Finally, D'Angelo loosens his grip. We both watch Larson limp back into his house, looking back over his shoulder like he's going to tell the teacher on you. You look to your partner, meaning to ask what the whole things you'd rather forget deal was. As if sensing your curiosity, D'Angelo cuts in with a preemptive mutter. Come on. We got what we came for. As you reach the address Larson gave you, you find yourself standing in front of what looks like an old garage. On the outside, the place looks uninteresting as it gets. You'd think it abandoned, if not for the few, barely working lights illuminating its shabby facade. Once you're inside, however, if ever there was a place worthy of being called a wretched hive of scum and villainy, this is probably it. The room is littered with drunks and crackheads, human and thin blood alike, their minds lost in their cruel little worlds, their bodies splayed out across the floor. D'Angelo leans over and whispers in your ear. I'll cover the back door. You stay near the front. Let's look around and see what we can find. Before you can ask what exactly you're supposed to be looking for, D'Angelo disappears into the shadows. Try and flush out the killer, look around quietly. Doing your best to blend in with the crowd, which is fairly difficult considering your upright position. You slowly make your way across the large room. Not really knowing what you're looking for, you focus on the details. A knowing smirk, a hateful stare, anything that looks even the slightest bit suspicious. After a dozen or so empty stares, you're almost ready to give up, when suddenly something catches your eye. A young, skinny woman hunched out in the corner of the room. She gives you a bewildered look, a 1,000-yard stare that tells you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's her. As you walk towards her, D'Angelo emerges from the shadows right next to you. Nice catch. He kneels down beside her. You can tell he's trying to sound as comforting as possible, but with his gravelly timbre, it's not really working out. Hey, it's okay. We're not here to hurt you. We just want to talk. Why am I hungry again? I just fed. No, don't talk. Too loud. Too loud. She seems halfway out of it. Like the lights are on, but whoever's inside is stumbling around after one hell of a bender. All right, you like quiet. Got it. Can you tell me your name? Santa. That's what he called me. Suddenly you hear the door swing open behind you. Even though the night is fairly warm, a cold chill runs down your spine. You look towards the entrance. There is a woman standing there, and something about her just screams kindred. Even though she seems comically overdressed for the situation, somehow you don't feel like cracking a smile. Whoever she is, you can tell she means business. She starts making her way to the back of the room, not making any effort to sidestep any of the junkies and drunks. They all know well enough to get out of her way. Acting out of bravery or sheer stupidity, you walk up to her. She looks at you as if you were something she just scraped off of her shoe. You smile nervously, without even knowing it. Hello there, and who might you be? Hey, what's a girl like you doing in a place like this? Hold it, what's your business here? Wow, all of these sound fucking bad. And who might you be? As soon as you open your mouth, her hand shoots out, grabbing you by the throat. The woman looks at you, tilting her head, as if examining a curious species of insect. Suddenly, her eyes shift as she notices something behind you. Her face turns from disgusted curiosity to sheer annoyance. Nice hair. You. Hey, Val, that's my assistant you got there. Do you mind? She rolls her eyes. You feel the grip on your neck loosen, and you awkwardly fall to your feet. She makes her way towards D'Angelo, pushing you aside like a rag doll. Where is she? You're gonna have to be a bit more specific, darling. Don't play coy, Ginny. The manslayer. I know she's here. The blood hunt has begun by order of the prince herself. The girl is to meet her final death. Hold your horses, honey. I'm conducting an investigation under the auspices of the sheriff. That counts for something, too. Auspices? Look, sweetie. I'm not here for some flit measuring contest. You want this to get ugly? Be my guest. Otherwise, I suggest you step aside and let me do my job. By all means. He steps aside in a comically exaggerated fashion. You look at the quarter where you last saw Sana, but find no trace of the girl. Well, I'll be. I could swear she was just here. Valerie looks at D'Angelo. She smiles softly, but you can tell she's trying very hard not to rip his head off. You'll regret this. Story of my life. Without another word, she turns on her heel and storms out. D'Angelo waves his hand in your general direction. Come on, kid. Let's get out of this shithole. As you emerge from said shithole, you feel the cool night breeze caress your face. It's soothing and almost makes you forget how shitty the last few hours have been. Almost. Okay, kid. I know you've got questions, but it's getting early and I don't feel like having a Q&A session right now. For now, you get one question. Make it count. Who the hell is Valerie? You know where the girl went? What do we do now? Who the hell is Valerie? Valerie, huh? So, who the hell is she? She's a scourge, kid. Part enforcer, part assassin. All around, pain in the ass. If she finds that girl before we do, we'll never find out why she did what she did. And before you ask, yes, we've run into each other in the past. No, I don't feel like talking about it. Alright, kid, I don't know about you, but I'm turning in. I'll figure some stuff out and keep looking for our girl. Feel free to swing by the office in a night or two. And with that, he stumbles off into the distance, not even bothering to keep to the shadows. Can't say you blame him. It really has been a rough night. Okay, I'm going to take my stretch break now. Because it is time. Sorry, Ami, I just needed to move you so I could see the button. You're going to sneeze on me, aren't you? I'll be back. Okay, I am back. I need to turn on a light. I didn't even think about that. There we go. Now y'all can see me. I hate how bright that light is. I want a nice, softer light, please. So bright. Okay, so I'm back. We need to rest, so let's go rest. Okay, right to the fucking point. Y'all telling me exactly where to go, not letting me make decisions. Got it. Okay. You arrive at the leech pit, finding it less rowdy than the last time. The bar is still packed, but the dance floor is empty tonight. Instead, the old, crackling speakers are playing music that would probably sound like noise even on high-end hardware. Mia is nowhere to be seen, but you remember she requested that you ask for her at the bar. You approach the bar as the bartender finishes pouring a beer for an older guy in a faded, fraying Iron Maiden t-shirt. He turns to you. What can I get you? Is Mia around? No, she's not in tonight. She looks you up and down, and a spark of recollection shines in her eye. Oh yeah, that's right. Takes a well-worn book from behind the counter. Some kind of young adult vampire novel? He flips through it, produces a piece of paper from between the book's pages, and passes it to you. She told me you'd be interested in reading this. You find a relatively quiet corner and take a look at the note. T wants to meet you. I'll arrange it. But you need to prove you're trustworthy. Look around the leech pit for a guy named Bruce. Buff dude, tattoos, sleeve, on his right arm. I'm 90% sure he's somebody's retainer, sent here to spy on us by the cam. Get me the name of his master and write it on this card. Then return it to the bar. It doesn't take you long to locate this Bruce guy. He sits alone in a corner, 2 beer glasses already empty on his table. You take a moment to consider your approach. Get him drunk and talkative. What does that mean? Feeding opportunity. Presence. Strike up a conversation. Why is this one red? Get him drunk and talkative. Oh, it means I can't do it. Presence. The man immediately notices you, but doesn't move from a spot. The other seats are empty. When you focus the blood to boost your attractiveness, it's not just Bruce who notices. He's into you. So are other people doing double takes as they pass your table. Hey, have I seen you here before? Yeah, probably. It's possible I'm a regular. It's my first night here. It's my first night. I don't think so. My first night here. Huh. Well, I'm lucky I'm here tonight, then. Intimidate him, give you the name, ask him about the name directly, ask him about the name nicely. Man, yeah, the whole presence thing was... Ask him about the name nicely. I know you're here because somebody asked you to spy on this place. It'd make me really happy if you gave me their name. What? You mean Sam? He catches himself, realizes what you're doing. His eyes dart over your shoulder. You thought you had him cornered, but he suddenly leaps over the table in one smooth move and dashes through the sparse crowd. You catch up to him outside. He's bolting, all right. Dominate. Bruce, stop. Simple command, obeyed to the letter. You approach him and drag him into a nearby alleyway. He snaps out of your previous command, but now there are only a few meters between the two of you. Tell him his cover is blown. Listen, your cover is blown. I was told who you are. You better come clean. Your master's name, that's all I need. Bullshit. Besides, she'd kill me if I told you. And I quite like being alive. I don't want to use too much more power, because I'm already hungry. Intimidate him with violence. Here's the deal. You tell me your master's name, and you save yourself a world of hurt. Unless you want to exit this alley on a stretcher, you'd better... Whack! Bruce doesn't wait for you to finish talking. He jumps at you, kicking and punching with dizzying speed. It takes you by surprise, and he puts you on the defensive. Just as you're about to retaliate, he breaks away, jumps the fence at the end of the alley, and is gone into parts of the city unknown. Time to leave something for Mia. You borrow a pen from the bar and flip Mia's note to the other side. Sam. And you know it's a she. That still leaves a lot of options. You could pull a name out of your ass or let Mia figure it out. Leave Mia all the info you have. Mia asked you for a name, but if all you have is a fragment and the gender, it'll have to do. You jot down a note. Bruce referred to his master as Sam and called her she. You pass the piece of paper to the bartender. She sticks it back in the same book. Hold on one second. She wanted me to pass something on to you. He produces a cell phone from behind the counter. It's ancient, at least 15 years out of date. Oh, right, and this. An old charger with a piece of junk in your hand. They really did think of everything. She said she'll be in touch. It takes you a moment to remind yourself how to operate this thing, and you find that its phone book is blank. There's no Wi-Fi connectivity and no saved messages. It's got a version of Snake, though. I don't want to be an adult anymore. That's fair. I just remembered I didn't set my timer. There we go. I don't want to adult anymore either. The bartender is already over at the other end of her domain, taking orders from patrons. With your anarch contact nowhere in sight, you decide to move on for the night. Hopefully, your educated guesses, based on the scraps of info you collected, will be enough for Mia to call you. Yes, I know! Well, I didn't use it a third time because I knew I would end up feeding on somebody. Alright. Let's go visit our sexy gangrel friend. The Battle of the Cloisters. A tapping on the window, a small grayish bird flying off, a small piece of paper left on the windowsill. Prospect, ASAP, camp. As you open the blinds, you're able to spot a small grayish bird flying off into the night. Looking down, you notice a small piece of paper on the windowsill. Prospect, ASAP, camp. Okay. Third time's a charm, you think to yourself as you once again cross the gate of Prospect Park and head for Tamika's haven. To your surprise, you find her out in the open, sitting on the lawn, surrounded by a ghost of woodland creatures, birds and squirrels mostly. Just got off again with my bank. My bank account is now frozen because my apparently a joint folder, and now, oh my god! How the hell did that happen, Blue? What the fuck? That's, something's wrong there. I hope you guys get that figured out because that's not good. The critters each patiently await their turn as she flicks seeds at them. It looks almost whimsical in a twisted sort of way. I want to know as well. I mean, that's fair. Yeah, I don't blame you. Hiding in plain sight. You wanted to see me? How are you holding up? How are you holding up? Elva wheat, huh? How are you holding up? Well enough, all things considered. She scatters the remaining seeds onto the grass and hops to her feet. I've been doing some digging. Inquisition has a safe house up in Manhattan. I think that's where they're keeping him. The scarred one, I mean. I want to pay them a visit. Kill that thing, and as many of those SI bastards as I can along the way. Isn't that a breach of the masquerade? Attacking a government safe house? Correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't that be considered a breach of the masquerade? Yeah, and that's the least of our worries. Throw in a legion of armed goons standing in our way, and an all-powerful vampire as the cherry on top. No record of this charge, but Banks says they were delivered papers today by a ship. Wow, okay. That's fucking serious as hell. Shit, man. I hope it gets straightened out and that it was like just a simple, stupid fucking mix-up. Like somebody entered one wrong number and it just happened to be yours, you know? And they get it fucking taken care of swiftly. Jesus, I would be so pissed. So pissed. What do they want you to do in the meantime? Did they, like, say what they wanted you to do while all this shit gets sorted out? Jeez, that's fucked up. Look, I'm not stupid. I know it's risky as hell. And I'm well aware I might not be coming back. Still, it's something I have to do, with or without your help. Look, I don't have much choice. Does Raoul know about this? Oh, what the hell, I meant. Does Raoul know about this? Just out of curiosity. Does Raoul know about this master plan of yours? He does now. Oh, hey, good! Good. Thank you. He emerges from the shadows a mere few feet away from you. Son of a gun finally managed to sneak up on you. Tamika eyeballs him as he gets closer. You've seen that look before. She's clearly asserting her position, but this time it comes off as a formality rather than an actual challenge. How long have you been there, Raoul? Long enough? I'm still not buying that whole scarred one bullcrap, but taking a bite out of the Inquisition's collective ass is just too good to pass up. I want in. Better believe it. Why would your sister lie to you? Believe it or not, just be ready for it. Call it the Scarred One, Santa, or the Tooth Fairy. Just know that it's very real and very dangerous. They want the payment, or they are gonna garnish... For what, though? Like, how? For what? Usually, in order to do that, you have to first owe money for something. Like, if you don't owe money for something, they can't garnish your wages. Like, what? What do they... There's no record of this charge. Like, what? What are they charging you for? I don't get it either. That's what my bank told me. Right, but they have to charge you for something. And it said, you said they didn't charge you, but they're threatening to garnish your wages if you don't pay the charge, but they didn't charge you. What? Sense doesn't make. Someone made a mistake somewhere, clearly. Like, what the fuck? Ugh, fine. Consider me fairly warned. Now, can we move this along? I'm itching to kill some SI fucks. Hey. Tamika? You got an opinion? Guess I knew who the alpha is around here. Listen, I ain't gonna step on her toes, okay? I know better. Never step on her toes. You should come with us. He's got the right to be there. See the Scarred One with his own eyes. Plus, my brother can be a pain in the ass, but he's one hell of a fighter. There you go. Tam's seal of approval. It's settled then. Let's go. Fucking finally. And with that, you leave the relative safety of Prospect Park, feeling yourself for things to come. Connected to my mom, apparently she owes But since both names... Oh. Oh. Yeah, that's fucked up. That's why my name is the only name on any of my accounts, because if I fuck up, it's gonna be my fuck up and not somebody else's fuck up. Fuck that shit, man. Alright. Shit's about to get fucked. As you get closer to your destination, you get the sneaking suspicion that Tamika's been pulling your leg. Following her lead, you take a turn from Broadway into Fort Tryon Park. It doesn't seem to make sense, you think to yourself. There's only one spot between here and the Hudson River. But it can't be, can it? Sure enough, as the stone facade of the cloisters come into view, Tamika motions at you to keep out of sight. How the hell is this well-known tourist trap a hideout for the Second Inquisition? Isn't this place a tourist attraction? Only during the day. At night, it serves as a staging ground for the Inquisition. If my sources are to be trusted, and they usually are, they brought him here for what they call processing. Hope we get whatever this is figured out, because I don't get paid again until next... Oh, dear God. That is horrifying. Oh, God, I would be so upset. Damn it, Mom! Quit fucking around and finding out. Doubt they'll keep him here for long, though. If we want to get to him, it's now or never. As if on cue, a group of armed guards walks out of the museum, pushing a gurney with a large steel container on top of it. As they wheel it out into the open, a truck approaches. The operatives start preparing to load the crate onto the vehicle. You scan the area, trying to take a head count. Tamika beats you to it. I count at least 7, probably more inside. You should do this quietly and take them out one by one. I vote we sneak around to the truck, take out the truck, people in the truck, and take over the truck, and then just drive off with them. That sounds simple enough, right? Right? Just flip in and take them. I got like a hangnail, and it keeps snagging. Arul frowns. I say we go in guns blazing, figuratively speaking. If there's more inside, let them come. The more the merrier. We want to get out. We want to get out alive. Why don't I talk to them? No, let's try this stealthy approach so I can get a snack while we're at it. Mika's right. We should get in quietly, take them out one by one. Mika nods in silence. Ugh, fine. Let's do this already. Before you two bore me to final death. You split up, aiming to cover as much ground as possible. Sticking to the shadows, you advance, keeping track of one another's progress. You hardly even notice as Tamika takes out the first guard. Not a peep out of him. Trying to keep up, Raul kills the one to your left. He's sloppy, takes his sweet-ass time bleeding the guy out. With his dying breath, the man lets out a yelp, drawing the attention of one of his comrades. With the guard fast approaching, you ponder your options. Slice his throat with your fangs, choke him out. As the guard walks by, you leap out of the shadows and put him in a crushing headlock. Opting for a non-lethal approach, you quickly choke the guy out. Just as you're about to move on, Raul jumps in and plunges his claws into the man's chest. He turns toward you and mutters a silent reprimand. No witnesses. I don't think Tamika killed the other guy. 3 down, 4 to go. You keep a steady pace, moving across the courtyard, picking off the guards one by one. Tamika does her part. 3 to go. Arul gets messy again. At least this time, he's quiet. With only 2 of them left, you pick one for yourself and gesture at one of your fellow ferals to take care of the other. Tamika's quieter, but Raul's closer. Which one will you choose? Well, Raoul's closer, so I'll let him do it. You nod to Raoul. That's all the encouragement he needs. You can see him grinning like an idiot as he sneaks up on one of the guards. The grin soon turns out to be very fitting. Instead of dispatching the enemy quietly, Raoul gleefully taps him on the shoulder. As soon as the guy turns around, the feral slashes him across the face. Feeling the dewy warmth of his own eyeballs on his cheeks, the man lets out a blood-curdling scream. God damn it, Raoul! Startled, the final guard turns towards you. As all three of you approach him, the dire reality of the situation hits him like a ton of bricks. I should have given it to Tamika. I should have given it to Tamika. Paralyzed with fear, he keeps shifting his aim from you to Tamika to Raoul. He is severely fucked, and he knows it. And since you're standing closest to him, you might as well do the honors. Feeding opportunity! You walk over to the quivering mess that mere minutes ago thought himself the toughest of the tough. Before he can react, you slap the gun out of his hand, lean in, and smile. Hi. Half a second later, your fangs are already halfway to his windpipe. The blood tastes sour with a hint of cowardice and regret. Could have gone out with a bang, chose to go out with a gurgle. Oh well. With the SI operatives taken care of, you turn your attention to the container sitting in the middle of the courtyard. Using your combined strength, you make quick work of the steel door. As you walk in, the moonlight from behind you illuminates a twisted figure huddled on the floor. Hard to believe that the thing lying before you, beaten and tortured within an inch of its unlife, is the same creature you fought back at the cemetery. What the fuck is that thing? The boogeyman. It's what you refuse to believe. It's what happens when you lose control. It's what you refuse to believe. It's what your sister warned you about. What you refuse to believe. His lips move silently, as if searching for the right words. He looks to you, then turns to his sister as if waiting for a sign. For a moment, Tamika just stands there. She looks down at the scarred one. The once fearful boogeyman, whose very mention could strike terror in the hearts of her tribe, now reduced to a whimpering pile of flesh. Finally, she turns to you with a look of childish innocence mixed with confusion. Then she looks back at the scarred one. You can tell she's lost. Tam, what the hell are you waiting for? Let's kill this thing and get out of here. That's not what we came here to do. You sure? Somehow doesn't seem right. He's right. It's what you came here to do. Your choice, Tamika. This is your choice. I can't make it for you. She turns to you with the look of pride mixed with desperation. I'm not asking you to. Do it, Tam. You know he deserves a hell. Looks like you'll be doing him a favor. He made his choice a long time ago. You don't have to. Whatever you do, there will be consequences. Do what you will. Just be ready to live with the consequences. Suddenly, the very air around you seems to thicken. You look over to Tamika. She's not quivering anymore. She walks up to the scarred one. The pitiful creature presses itself into the corner in a desperate and futile attempt to crawl away. Without a word, she grabs the creature by the ears, sinking her claws in the sides of his head. She looks him dead in the eye. Her voice is surprisingly warm, almost soothing. You can rest now, brother. In one fluid motion, she twists his neck off his shoulders. The snapping sound is both sickening and satisfying. The empty husk of the once fearful beast falls to the floor like a slab of meat. Jesus, Tam, that was... What the hell was that? Closure. Hopefully, some closure. Standing outside the steel container, the three of you take a moment to gather your thoughts. You look at one another, at the blood staining your hands, clothes, and face. In the pale moonlight, it appears black and shiny, like a fresh ink stain on a fresh sheet of paper. Without another word, you head back toward the city lights. The journey back takes longer than it did in the other direction. With bits and pieces of the Second Inquisition still stuck to your clothes, You decide to play it safe by sticking to back alleys and cutting through the darker corners of the city. Mika stays several steps ahead. Both you and Raoul are quite content to follow her lead. You can tell that these last few nights have taken a toll on her, but not necessarily in a bad way. She seems stronger somehow, confident, more in tune with herself. Soon, the awkward silence proves unbearable enough that you're willing to risk making small talk with Raoul. I'm still not sure what happened back there. You think she's going to be alright? You think she made the right choice? Think she's going to be alright? Yeah, I think so. She's just got to figure some stuff out. Our lineage. We have a special relationship with the beast. We can either let it control us or become attuned to it. It's a constant struggle, marked with difficult choices. I think Tam just made one of them. Pondering what you've just heard, the rest of the trip barely registers. To your surprise, you suddenly find yourself back at Prospect. Tamika keeps walking. She strides through the park gate like a queen of old, returning after a victorious conquest. You want to call out to her, but Raoul stops you with a gesture. Not yet. Give her some time to process all this shit. She'll let you know when she's ready. And hey, you did all right. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're still an asshole, but yeah, thanks. He smiles at you. Wonders never cease. See you around. And with that, he follows his sister's footsteps. A weird smile creeps onto your face as you meld into this New York night. And now, we rest. A piece of paper is sticking out of your mailbox. It's a computer printout, a note, and a screenshot from Google Maps. It reads, "Meet me at the indicated spot tomorrow at 10 p.m. I'll pick you up, and we'll take it from there." No signature. Place marked on the map is the lookout point near Pier 1, just next to the Brooklyn Bridge. You check the phone that Mia passed on to you. No new messages, no missed calls. It's all a bit fishy, but there's only one way to find out who addressed this to you. Looks like tomorrow evening has been planned out for you. Ow, my wrist. Good morning. You go downstairs as soon as you wake up. One more glance at the phone, but no news from Mia. You take the car down to Brooklyn. Jesus Christ, that was quite a flash of lightning. Park on Front Street and approach the meeting spot cautiously. A figure of about Mia's size is standing there, dressed in an oversized jacket and looking out toward Manhattan. As you approach, you can hear her muttering something. Is it true? But I do not think it is. It is true, but I do not think it true. If I do not think it true, then it cannot be true. And if it cannot be true, then... Are you the one who left me the note? Hey, are you the one who left the note at my apartment? The woman turns around. It's not Mia. Whoever it is, you have never seen her before. She looks perfectly plain and unmemorable. The ink on the paper, did the message leave? I'm sorry. What? The ink on the paper, did the message leave? Ink on the paper, did your face here bring? You turn around. 3 men, all of them burly and threatening, approach you. One of them takes the lead. So, you got the message. What is this about? Cut the crap. What is this about? You're taking a trip, friend. The boss wants to meet you. Callahan? That's Boss Callahan to you, fuckface. I suggest you get a move on. We've got places to be. The voice of the woman keeps creeping into your consciousness. The litany of gibberish ever present throughout this entire conversation. The man cracks his knuckles. Or we can do this the hard way. A agree to go with them? I need the information anyway. Yeah. Okay. I'll go with you. Smart. They lead you down the pier and onto a motorboat. The engine starts. Put this on. He points to a cloth sack. One of the guys is holding you down. The woman is still there, whispering to herself. Somehow, you hear her voice clearly in your head. It becomes a nagging suggestion to put the sack over your head. You don't really want to do it, but your hands go through the motions all the same. It takes 15 or so minutes to reach your destination, you think. The engine dies down, and you are led on shore and then further up an incline and through some overgrowth. 10 more minutes of walking, maybe until a deep voice reaches your ears. Vincent, my dear boy, why the hood over our guest's face? Well, boss, I thought, no, that will not do. How many times do I have to repeat myself, Vincent? You don't have to think. You have to listen and do as you're told, yes? Yes, boss. Well, take that ridiculous sack off their head, will you? The hood comes off. The owner of the deep voice is a curious sight, dressed in what can only be described as Victorian clothing, with a monocle and graying red hair. Is this Callahan? Oh, God, he really is. Apologies for Vincent's unacceptable behavior. He can be a little thick sometimes. Isn't that right, Vincent? Yeah, boss. Sometimes. A little. I believe you already know who I am. Your boss, Callahan. Right you are, and I'm guessing you know of my role in this city. I represent the Anarch movement, while I'm not quite sure what you represent. I have invited you here to find out. Now, let me make myself perfectly clear. I am disappointed in you. Truly disappointed. But I arranged this meeting to allow you to make amends. First, though, I have to make sure you understand what your infraction was. So, do you know why you're here? I feel like you're dying to tell me. I can't help but feel like you're dying to tell me. Don't get smart with me. He takes your face in his hand, while Vince holds you in a tight grip. He squeezes hard and looks deep in your eyes. Pork is the reason you're here, or that little angry strumpet of his, I'm told, yes? Mia? Oh, how I'd love to get my hands on her gaunt neck and wring it until it breaks. But see, I'm a statesman, and that's not the prudent thing to do. No, indeed, the prudent thing to do is to tolerate both her and that blessed ebony-skinned mentor of hers. You sound racist, sir. If you ask me, it all went downhill when you women folk got voting rights. Wow! How about a nice tall glass of fuck you? Made you believe you were on the same level as us men. What a ridiculous notion that was. Boy, I can't wait to rip your head off. I will enjoy it. That is now my personal vendetta, to rip your fucking head off. Actually, no. Better yet, I'm gonna rip your other head off and then jam it down your fucking throat, balls and all. How about that? Does that sound like fun? That sounds like fun. Let's do that. Let's do that. We know where Manna stands on women's rights, clearly. Finished with your disgusting rant? You take that shit back. For now, let's play the field. You finished with your rant? Oh, fledgling, you have no idea who you're messing with. He looks at you with rage in his eyes, and you feel insignificant and vulnerable. An irrational fear takes over you. You cannot speak up against this man. You just can't. It's too terrifying. Now that I have your full attention, I will request something from you, and you will obey me to the letter. But that comes later. First, you will answer a few questions. The first of which is, who pointed you to Mia? Nobody. It was my idea. Oh, really? And what was your intention behind the meeting? I needed Mia's help. Oh, come now. You'll have to be more specific than that. I need to know exactly what it was that you discussed. I wanted her to explain the Anarchs to me. I just wanted to learn about the Anarchs, so I asked her about the movement. Oh, child, you should have come to me then. I am the Anarch movement in New York City, and nobody makes a secret out of it. You bet on the wrong horse, as I'm sure you'll soon learn. See, that wasn't hard now, was it? Of course, I can't be sure how much of what you told me was true, and how much of it was worth about as much as yesternight's horse shit. But I'll find out. I always do. When I do, we'll have another one of these nice talks. And maybe, just maybe, you'll avoid this upcoming unpleasant episode next time. He gives Vince a sign, and the burly man starts hitting you all over. You feel teeth, ribs, and fingers break. Your foot is mangled under Vince's boot. Your shoulder dislocated. Your nose wrecked. That's enough, Vincent. Leave them be. He snaps his fingers in front of your face a few times and checks if you can focus on his face. You can, but barely. I'm a man of principle. Another night, I would have put you in a casket, dip it in concrete, and dump it into the Hudson. A favorite of mine during the roaring 20s. Been a while. But, like I mentioned before, I am nothing but prudent. And so, the interests of this city's kindred, must come before my own needs and wants. I will therefore let you continue your existence. It's also against the law for you to kill me. So if you did kill me, even though you don't subscribe to the Camarilla, they would still put you to death if you killed me, because it's illegal to kill another vampire. But boy, I can't wait to fucking rip off your goddamn head. Here's what I require in return for this boon. You are forbidden to meet Torque. I will keep an eye on him. If you want a place with the Anarchs, you go through me and only me. Got it? You have to understand what I made my associates do to you tonight was just business. We can still work out a mutually beneficial relationship. In fact, it's either that or your final death. Time to go, Vincent. Take the boat back. Leave the fledgling here. I think they have a lot to think about. Sure thing, boss. Pleasure making your acquaintance. Callahan walks away, as do Vincent and his band of thugs. You lie on the ground for a while longer, feeling the blood slowly putting your body back together, your hunger growing. You can hear the beast calling for sustenance, for safety, for revenge, a distant but pronounced third desire. It's not until you mend yourself enough to appear more as a mugging victim than an impossibly mangled walking cadaver that you hail a passing taxi and head back to your haven. The whole way there, you are tempted by the beast. Your driver, a 30-something with a strong Slavic accent and an unpronounceable name on his ID, keeps asking if he should drive you to the hospital. You keep declining, all the while thinking that if you only asked him to pull over for 5 minutes, you could feast on his warm blood to the beast's content, drink him whole. Nobody would know. Nobody but his wife, kids, if he has them. Nobody but his boss and coworkers. Nobody but you as you look in the mirror tomorrow. Keeping your hunger at bay was never before as difficult as it is tonight. The driver stops at your apartment building. There is nobody around. You can do it. Do it. Do it now. Now! Resist. You pay the driver and walk out. Fast. Leave the car behind. Don't look back. Look back. Walk back. Feet. No. Through the door. Up the stairs. In the lock. Open the apartment. Walk in. Lock yourself in. The familiar four walls of your haven are a blessing. The beast inside you keeps nagging, but you kept it at bay tonight. Not a small feat, given your state. You are still weak. You're still not quite mended. You need to rest. Tomorrow you will have to feed again. Tomorrow you will have to consider your next move. Callahan is not the kind of man who quits, but tonight you rest. Okay, I'm gonna go take my stretch break and then I will be back momentarily. Alright. I am back. I'm gonna go ahead and set my timer. Get that started. Sorry, I needed a snack. I've got some Reese's Pieces. Alright, so, time to rest. Waking up tonight feels different for two reasons. For one, you are pleasantly surprised that your body mended reasonably well while you were resting. Comes with a caveat, though. The hunger you feel is pronounced. The beast, like a black dog on the edge of your vision, following you. But what is truly remarkable is waking up to the tune of an old cell phone ringtone. An unknown number is calling the phone you got from Mia. You pick up. Kept that old thing charged after all, huh? You alright? I feel like shit! No, actually, I feel like shit. Look, that's too bad, but I don't really care. I was just being polite. I'm calling with good news. Torque has agreed to meet you. There's a pub in the Bronx. Solids and Stripes. Be there tonight. Two things. No drinking on the premises, so if you want to grab a snack, do it before setting foot in the borough. And this is an exclusively no powers meeting. We'll be rubbing shoulders with commoners the whole evening, and also, we don't trust you, so keep it casual, or you'll blow it. Anything you'd like to add? Callahan forbade me from meeting Torque. We should expect company. Will you protect me from Callahan? We should expect company. Callahan forbade me from meeting Torque. Yeah, I met Callahan yesterday. He kicked my ass and forbid me from meeting Torque. I'm not sure I should be there tonight. Silence on the line. Fuck. More silence. I can't promise you any protection on your way there or back. But at the pub, you'll be in Torque's domain. For all his posturing, Callahan doesn't have the balls to strike Torque directly. We'll post additional lookouts on watch. That's the best I can do. Callahan got under your skin, I get it. I was in that spot once or twice too. All I've got to say is, the risk is worth it. If you don't show tonight, I won't blame you. But it's a one-time offer only. You gotta hedge your bets. Just don't do anything stupid. You meet with us tonight, it better be in good faith. She ends the call. First things first, you take the subway to York Street Station, walk to Front Street, retrieve your car, and weigh your options while driving back to your haven. Go to the meeting directly, drive around before the meeting, tell Sophie you can't. Feeding opportunity, trust your intuition. You've been doing this for a good few nights, getting a feel for it. You're learning what kind of predator you are and what kinds of blood you crave. You're so caught up in yesterday's problems and in this cloak and dagger debacle you're now a part of, that the hunt feels almost automatic and casual tonight. A fragment of you surrenders control. What? Just minutes after you find your victim, coax them, and drink from them, you find you've forgotten their face and how they were dressed. It only hits you once you look at yourself in the car's rearview mirror. This was wrong. You can't let this become the norm. You hurt somebody. A human being. You're a monster. You need to stay mindful of this. You're a monster, but unless you let yourself off the hook, you can hold onto your humanity and not let yourself slide down the spiral. We needed to feed bad. Instead of clearing your mind, this clouded it further. You are still no closer to a decision. Drive around before going to the meeting. That way you can see if you're being followed. You do intend to visit Torque tonight, but you decide to drive around a bit first. Something tells you there might be somebody tailing you. It sounds sensible to try and lose them. You spend a good 2 hours looking in your rearview mirror and driving all over the city before finally driving to the Bronx. You take some basic precautions as you enter Turk's turf. That's a mouthful. You park a few streets over from where the pub is and walk towards it while keeping an eye out for anyone suspicious. That kindred, for the most part, look no different than regular people. Makes things complicated, of course. If you're being followed or watched, it's going to be hard to tell. You reach the pub, shoot a final glance around. There's nobody suspicious around as far as you can see, and open the door. The smell of cigarettes is overwhelming. The whole place has an aura about it. Constant fog hanging right under the ceiling. The lethargic fans do nothing to disperse it. The constant crack of billiards balls and clinking of glasses tells you all you need to know about the clientele. Not a very vampiric place at all. You're wondering if you got the address right. You apparently did. Mia's here. He motions you over to one of the few tables around. Took your sweet time to get here. What, got cold feet? Never mind. Anyone follow you? That's what took me so long. Not that I know of. Fair enough. Before I introduce you, there's some outstanding business to discuss. You didn't prove very helpful at the bar. Carol, the bartender, mentioned that you made an effort, but as you can imagine, there's plenty of licks who use feminine pronouns in this city. Still, I'll take whatever I can get, so thanks for that, I guess. Come on, works right here. You walk toward one of the tables. A guy in a coat and hat leans over to take a shot. He's way ahead of his opponent. The table is clear of his balls, save for the 8-ball, in a tricky position. Hey, they're here. Be with you in just, The hit is fast, precise, and sends the black ball exactly where its player wanted it. His opponent lets out a frustrated sigh. That's that. I believe that's 150 American dollars, Joey. You pay up now, or up the stakes again. The disgruntled man accepts his defeat and pays up, then declares he's going to grab another beer. To the victor go the spoils. Thank you kindly. He turns his full attention to you. The man is good-looking, if somewhat gaunt and intense. His eyes especially seem to pierce right through you to your core, but not in an unpleasant way. Name's Torque. I believe you're Vita, Sophie Langley's new plaything. Is that right? How does everybody always know that? Plaything? No, that's right. Yeah, Mia told me. Forgive my being real with you right off the bat, but I like to know who it is I'm dealing with. So here's something that I've been scratching my head about. If you're with Langley, and Langley's Cam through and through, I'm told what it is you've come to accomplish here tonight. Sophie wants to meet with you. Sophie Langley wants to meet with you. Don't ask why, she didn't tell me. She just said it has something to do with gathering allies against Boss Callahan. I'm here to arrange that meeting. The fuck? I knew nothing about this, T. They lied to me. Mia's furious. She's looking at the pool cue and at you as if she was figuring out the best combination for the two. It's fine. I appreciate the honesty, even if you weren't straight with my second in command. That I don't appreciate. Well, well, well. Ain't that an interesting proposition? You can't be seriously thinking about meeting with Langley. She's hardline Cam. It's a trap. It must be. It just might be. It just might. He looks at you, pierces you with his unnaturally keen eyes. He's about to say something when a door opens at the back of the room. Hey, Torque, you, got a guest. You're in the back. Won't you be a dear and keep our new friend company? I'll see what the commotion is. Sure thing. Torque tips his hat to you and walks to the back, joining the man who called for him. Mia glowers at you, this time weighing one of the pool balls in her hand. She looks like she has half a mind to chuck it at your face. You gotta be quite happy with yourself bluffing your way in here. Hey, whatever works. Sorry it had to be this way. Not just Sophie I'm here for. It might have started as a task from Sophie, but I'm glad I could meet you in Torque. Don't hold it against me. No, I'm totally going to hold it against you. And for a while. You made me look like a chump in front of Torque. Here I was beginning to think you might make a good addition to our little family. There's a whole lot of trust you'll have to regain before that happens now. Yeah, that's fair. Torque appears from a door at the back and calls across the room. Yo, Mia, can I grab you for a second? Vita, get over here too. You go to the back room. Basically a storage area with a single wooden desk. It's pretty cramped, especially considering there's 5 other people in there with you. Torque ushers you in and closes the door behind you and Mia. 2 burly dudes are holding somebody down. A familiar voice reaches your ears. Motherfuckers, you're gonna pay for this, you hear me? The boss is gonna fuck you up so bad, you have no idea. Have you had the doubtful pleasure of meeting Mr. Cerruti before, Vita? I have a score to settle with this fucker. You're fucked. You're so fucked you don't even know it. You stupid piece of shit. I should have ended you yesterday. The boss told you to stay away. You should have listened. That's a story and a half, ain't it? Vince, calm down and tell me, how many of your guys are still out there on my turf, Go fuck yourself. You're done. The boss will know this stupid piece of shit fledgling came here. He knows they're with Langley. You know what that means, Torque. No, I don't. What does it mean, Vince? Now the boss can wipe you out. He'll just say you're sucking Langley's tits and all those buddies of yours, gone. You're done, Torque. Well, now, if that's the case, I guess ridding New York City of your toady ass won't make things any worse, will it? Actually, there's... Vince mentioned that he beat you up yesterday. Did I hear that right, Vita? You want to repay the favor? It's your... Gladly. Gladly. Go right ahead. Hurt Vince. A lot. You hit Vince. Once. Twice. He's chuckling in the beginning. But you focus your blood for some extra oomph and keep hitting him. Again. More. Until he stops laughing. He's bruised, battered, and broken. The 2 Anarch dudes let go of him, and you kick him some more while he's on the floor. You only stop when you hear Torque's voice. Enough's enough, Vita. He takes an old pool cue. He takes an old pool cue and breaks it over his knee. Take him downstairs. Let's keep Callahan guessing about what happened to his favorite puppy. Mia takes a sharp piece of wood and jams it into Vince's chest. His features grow slack, his entire body inert. Doesn't even give out a yelp. The other 2 Anarchs take him out of the room. As entertaining as that was, I think Vince, in his unmatched wisdom, shared more than Callahan would hope for. This changes things. Ever heard about Operation Lights Out, Vita? It was a Second Inquisition effort here in New York City. A single night of raids at a magnitude never seen before or since. The Ivory Tower got away with just a few losses here and there. No major players were hit. They managed to find safe spots and stay out of the eye of the shitstorm. Us, though, we got hit hard. All over town. Havens were rooted out, entire coteries and safe houses gone, just like that. Nobody saw it coming. I barely got out in one piece. Mia looks at him with concern and puts a hand on his arm. He shrugs it off gently but surely. Others, like my child Barb, or Mia's sire, extinguished. But you know who got out without a scratch? Callahan. We've thought about it for the past few years. How is it that Big B managed to excuse himself from the Staten Island Museum, where we used to meet, just before vans full of guys in body armor show up? How is it that my baby is burning up after being shot with incendiary rounds, I also see Doug Callahan running with his tail between his legs, pushing fledglings like you in the path of the SI. We think the bastard knew what was coming, and he set us up. Not just us. Some of our brothers and sisters who got hit and had some of the lowest profiles in the city's lick population. The moral of the story? Callahan is an opportunistic motherfucker. And if even his thickest followers suggest he's going to sell me out, then that's what he's going to do as sure as the sun rises. He pauses for a moment, and you see him reach a decision. You said something about Langley having an offer for me. It might be your fault in part that I am at this juncture, but now's going to be as good as any time to listen to what she has to say. I don't think that's wise, T. Well, what would you have me do then? You said it yourself. It's all this fledgling's fault. They brought this on us, so let's use them as a bargaining chip. Callahan wants them. Langley needs them. They're valuable. Me? Valuable? I'm just a pawn. No, you're wrong. I'm just a pawn. That's why Sophie sent me here. Plausible deniability and all that. I'm expendable. The realization that you just summarized the entirety of the last 2 weeks or so hits you hard. But if there was a moment to be honest with yourself, it's now. Tired of playing phone tag? I don't blame you. Phone tag fucking sucks. You can't fucking win. Fuck! The man puts his hand on Mia's shoulder. She calms down a bit. We're afraid, Vita. But then, what else is new? It's a paradox being who we are. The hunter one night, the hunted another. Masters of the night, slaves to the dawn. A duality to everything. Mia, I understand your concern, but I need you to trust me like you did before. This is my call and my responsibility. You can give me shit about it later, like I'm sure you will. Count on it. He smiles, then takes on a no bullshit look and points at you. 3 conditions. First, you come pick me up personally and bring me to the meeting spot. Anything goes sideways, it's your ass. Second, Mia's coming with me. No 2 ways about it. 8 eyeballs in the meeting, in the meeting. The 2 of you, the 2 of us, nobody else. And third, the meeting is public. Downtown, some spot frequented by mortals. We see you take us anywhere fishy, we check out, and fuck you up as a message link. I count on it not coming to that, though. You seem likable enough. The cam hasn't gotten its talons into you yet. Keep it up, and maybe you'll come to the same conclusions we did in your own time. I'll repeat your conditions to Sophie. I doubt it. It's dangerous being anarch. I'll wait and see. I'll repeat your conditions to Sophie. I'll make sure to repeat your conditions to Sophie. You do that. Best be on your way. Ask for me here when you need me. The bartender knows how to get in touch. Just ask him to put the owner on the line. Mia walks you to the door and accompanies you to your car. Listen, about what I said before. I hope you're not about to apologize. Sorta. More like explain myself. I panicked. That's all that was. It was unfair what I said. If anything, it's my fault. I'm angry with myself, and that makes me angry with you. Forget it. See ya. She starts walking back to the bar as you start the engine and head back to Sophie's apartment. Time to give Sophie the good news. She welcomes you as openly as ever, clearly excited to see you and for what news you might bring. Good evening, Vita. How's your task going? You have something for me, perhaps? It's done, but it cost me dearly. It's done, but there'll be trouble. I did what you asked. The meeting is set up. I suggest we take advantage of it quickly, though. There's going to be trouble. Trouble? What trouble? Torque doesn't trust you. Callahan forbade me from meeting Torque. Callahan's goon threatened Torque. We'll go with that one. Boss Callahan's goons grabbed me yesterday and forced me to meet with him. He was very clear that I cannot be seen talking with Torque, or he'll have me killed. I went and did it anyway. I appreciate your dedication. I really do. I'm sorry if you got hurt. Thank you for following through. Well, let's hear it. What did Torque agree to? You relayed the Anarch leader's conditions. You are to pick him and Mia up. The meeting should only include the four of you, and it should be held in a public space. Those are all fair enough, although I do worry about that Mia character. Tell me, do you think she's trustworthy? Torque trusts her. She's fine for an Anarch. She tried to sell me out. No, Torque trusts her. Well, Torque trusts her, so we can too, I think. Very well. As for the place, I wonder if they would agree to meeting in Hudson Yards, the vessel. Plenty of tourists visit that place, but if we go there after midnight... She seems to have made up her mind. Yes, bring them there tomorrow night. Look for me near the top level. Tomorrow, so soon? Will they agree to meeting in the city? What will you discuss with them? What's so important that you can't just send him a letter or something? You'll be there to find out. Pick them up at midnight, then drive back to Midtown. That's the plan. I'll be waiting as long as it takes, within reason. I'm counting on you, Vita. The final puzzle piece is about to find its way to its destination. After that, we will get our just reward. You, me, the Camarilla, even the Anarch. I could kiss you. Yes, you'd like that. You desire it. She must have caught it in your expression. She smiled. A figure of speech, darling. Or at least it is tonight. But a few nights from now, who knows? I'm growing fond of you. And success whets my appetite for these kinds of things. The sexual tension in the room becomes unbearable until it suddenly disappears. Was this another one of Sophie's tricks, or an actual spark of arousal in both of your undead bodies? You certainly felt the blood flow through you for a short moment. The warmth in your groin takes you by surprise. You didn't think you could do that anymore. Or did you just imagine it? Use the rest of this night well, Vita, and rest. We are but a day's sleep away from shaking the city awake. Cool. That's fun. Okay. So, since we're already with Sophie, we might as well. Somebody's watching me, part 3. You've had enough of Adelaide Davis. Period. It's time to head for Elysium and confront her with Sophie by your side. Visiting Elysium with Sophie is always a humbling experience. She's connected, well-known, important. You're a nobody. You've always known this, of course, but it's especially apparent when you arrive with her. Everyone notices her, and she drinks it in like it's her birthright. That's Adelaide Davis. Let's go say hello. You spot the woman Sophie is referring to. Adelaide, your stalker. Intense, disheveled, young-looking. A Malkavian, if you've understood correctly. That's what I suspected. As you approach, Adelaide smiles at you, with a darting look of distaste towards Sophie. Don't worry, I don't judge people by the company they keep. That's sweet of you, darling. Let me say this straight. You can't keep doing what you've been doing. You have to leave my poor ward alone. Adelaide looks from Sophie to you and giggles. The sound must be rare in Elysium because it makes people glance towards you. I know she's making you do this. Don't worry, we'll be together again later. Let's try a normal date next time. Because I feel like you might be helpful. That's a word for it, I suppose. This game you play is too much for me. Let's go on a normal date next time. Sophie turns slowly to look at you, not as disapprovingly as you expected. Perhaps she thinks you're playing a social game, like kindred often do. Oh, I'm sorry. Adelaide looks serious, as if you forced her out of her comfort zone. I admit, playing games is easier for me. But I appreciate it. Let's go on a date some night. Adelaide smiles at you shyly and walks away. Sophie waits a moment before speaking. I hope you know what you're doing. Let me know how it goes. I suppose this will be good for a laugh in these tedious times. You're fairly certain that you accomplished your goal of getting Adelaide to stop harassing you with strange surprises. Every breath you take, complete Adelaide Davis's quest line. Somebody, okay. Whether she'll hold you to the date, only time will tell. Cool. Now I have to rest. Fine. You wake up. Yeah? I hope so. This is not your haven. It's a cramped space. You try to move your arms and find they are tied to your body. You can barely bend your legs. When you try to stretch your neck, you hit a cold ceiling. You can't quite believe it, but this is a coffin, or something close enough to it. It vibrates slightly, but you can't hear any sounds coming from outside. It's entirely dark. Try to break out. You kick the front of the container. The only reaction is a dull, metallic sound. You try using your fists, but there's just not enough room to get a good punch in. It seems pretty hopeless. Some more tries. Nothing. This is bad. Suddenly, the container is moved slightly. A moment of silence. An indistinct male voice shouting. A muffled shot. Silence again. The lid comes off. What the? Tamika! Found you. Beast mode! Tamika came to your help in the grand oh, we're at the grand finale? Holy shit. I didn't know we were at the grand finale already. Trouble is my business. D'Angelo came to your help in the grand finale. Tell me we've hit the jackpot. Come on, get up. We gotta get going. Seeing their faces is surprising, even more so in these circumstances. However, you realize the immediate danger of and follow your companions out of the car and down the street in North Bronx. The van has crashed into another car. A familiar face, that of Kaiser's ghoul Jackie, stumbles out of the wrecked sedan and slinks away to the darkness before you can call after him. The three of you jog away toward the line of trees and take shelter under some branches. Just as you hear a chopper approaching, its searchlight illuminates the wrecked van and moves toward you. Hide, now! You see Tamika literally go underground, melding with the earth beneath her feet as if she was being swallowed up. Yeah, that's something gangrels can do. If they can't find shelter before the sun rises, they will literally fucking bury themselves to avoid the sun. You look to D'Angelo, but he's not there. It must be his disappearing trick again. You're left alone with just seconds to make your move before the spotlight finds you. Hide behind the closest tree, dive under a nearby bush. Seeing no better option, you find the nearest bush and dive right under it. It's probably not the best or the smartest thing to do, but you have to trust your gut. The illumination passes only inches away from you, but it's just a pattern of light on the ground. The trees block a good portion of it. It doesn't dwell on you. It doesn't seem like they spotted you or any of your companions. The helicopter flies on, its searchlight frantically moving through the vicinity as your companions once again appear in your proximity. Close call. We have to get out of here before the SI puts boots on the ground. Here to tell me what's going on? D'Angelo, fill them in while we talk. Follow me. While we walk, sorry. Yes, I did a number on you. Your haven got raided, and they took you for a ride upstate. They have a facility somewhere out of town. Not a place you'd want to be. The thing that surprised me the most, though, it was Kaiser who contacted us and let us know. Kaiser organized this? What about Sophie? Is she safe? How did the SI... Well, we're not... What about Sophie? Is she safe? If they hit my haven... And what about Sophie? Is she safe? Kid, she's been in the game for years. Sure, she's doing just fine, sipping gourmet blood out of an expensive glass or whatever that fancy broad does. There's our ride. Come on. Stay low. The SI might still be around. Kaiser's familiar car stops nearby, and the back door opens. Your allies usher you inside and join you. Being inside this mobile fortress never felt like a relief until now. Hey, fledgling, miss me? Yeah, actually. Actually, yeah, I kind of did. Aw, that's so sweet. I hate to break it to you, but I didn't take a sudden liking to you. I'm here on business. On brand. You'd know a thing or two about that, wouldn't you, detective? You are here now only because I told your buddies that you were neck-deep in shit. That van you were in, a one-way ticket to Hurtville, Pennsylvania. I broke you out as a favor. Now you owe me big. How did you know? Why didn't I wake up earlier? How did you know? How the hell did you know the SI broke into my haven and took me away? Is that a piss-poor attempt at an insult, fledgling? I've kept eyes on you ever since that little job you did for me in Nolita. You know, in case I needed you for something else. I had to know your comings and goings. I have a good idea of why the SI hit you, Vita. Not that there aren't tons of good reasons for it. It might have been one of these, for instance. The screen in Kaiser's car flicker, and each of them now shows a short-looped clip. It's you, getting into a fight, feeding, using one of your powers. You haven't exactly kept a low profile, fledgling. I get it, you're new to this. You didn't know better, yada yada yada. The fact is, the SI has tons of this stuff. I thought I was being careful. Security camera footage, YouTube videos posted by onlookers, social media posts from victims, you name it. Like I said, though, I don't think any one of these did you in. Slip-ups happen. Not to you, though, right? I always wondered how it is you can drive a pompously luxurious limo around New York City and not get caught. What's your secret? Body double? Decoy cars? Kaiser smiles, going for that anthropomorphic piranha look you saw a few times before. You do know what killed the cat, don't you, Mr. Finn? D'Angelo freezes and scratches his face, looking fiercely at the other Nosferatu. You notice that his hands are shaking. Well, do you? Stop shedding on the upholstery and answer, or should I use your given name, too? Yeah, I know why the cat croaked. You would, wouldn't you? You've never seen D'Angelo serve anyone a death stare quite like the one he's shooting at Kaiser now. As much as I enjoy tempering your overinflated ego, we're nearing our destination, so I think I'll move on. There's a reason I need you walking and talking, Vita. Oh, sorry. The reason I need you walking and talking, Vita, is to test a hypothesis of mine. For that, I need you to finish what you were tasked to do. So, first things first. Yeah. He hands you a phone. The number has already been dialed. You hear the tone. Somebody picks up. Who is this? It's me, Sophie. Vita, are you okay? They're fine and dandy. Kaiser, what are you doing on this line? What do you think? It's my phone your protege is using, so keep it snappy. Operating a secure network ain't cheap. Come on, Vita, spit it out. Kaiser saved me from the SI. I got captured by the SI. Listen, I got captured by the Second Inquisition, but I'm fine now. SI? That's what I feared. Listen, the plan. We need to do it tonight. But if the Inquisition is involved and you broke out, they'll be looking for you, so we can't meet in public. I have a place in mind, but Kaiser, are you still listening? Would I tell you if I wasn't? Vita, call this number from where you visited before we last spoke. I'll come pick you up. She hangs up. And that's that. What is it that you've gotten yourself into? You never did tell me what kind of work you did for Langley. Don't play coy, D'Angelo. You must have figured out at least some of it. Don't worry, we'll have plenty of time to compare notes after we let our mutual acquaintance continue with their night. If my intel is worth a damn, your next stop, Vita, is right about here. The car comes to a stop and the door opens. Outside, you see the street leading to Solids and Stripes. Works Pool Club. Pub. Same thing. Well, you need me to kick you out? How the fuck do you know about this place? What about my companions? What if I don't want to do it? What about my companions? What about Tamika and D'Angelo? What about them? They're staying right where they are, and we're going to have a little chat. After we're done, I'm sure they'll find their way back to their havens just fine. The clock is ticking. I think I know what Sophie wants to do tonight, and if I'm right, tonight's the last chance you've got. If you want to say bye to your buddies before you go, that's fine by me, but that schedule of yours is pretty hectic, so you better do it now and scram. Thank your companions for their help. You thank both of your companions for their assistance. Without them, you wouldn't be here now. Kaiser makes a gagging gesture and urges you to step out of the car. You turn around and make your way to the bar. The door closes behind you and Kaiser's limo starts moving again. You hope your companions won't have to pay too high of a price for helping you. The Solids and Stripes is pretty much abandoned tonight, with only the bartender and one bleary-eyed local watching an old Bogart movie on the bar's screen. You ask to use the phone and call Sophie first. Yes? What's the plan? I'm here. What's the plan? We're on our way. Notify Torque. If he's not there, we need to talk as soon as possible and move quickly. She hangs up. You tell the bartender to notify Torque, just like the Anarch leader mentioned you should. The man makes a short call. You only hear somebody picking up, but no words exchanged. The owner's on his way right now. Can I get you anything while you're waiting? Do you serve the special stuff? The bartender raises an eyebrow. The special reserve, you mean? Sorry, I can only serve that to a narrow selection of the owner's friends. I am one of his friends. Well, I am one of his friends. Nah, it's a list. And you're not on the list. I know, because it hasn't changed for a while now. Sorry. Everything else at the bar is up for grabs, though. Sure you don't want something? You shake your head. Torque comes in some 10 minutes later without Mia. He tips his hat to you, puts a hand on the bleary-eyed patron's shoulder, and says something to him under his breath. They both laugh. Marty, how's the night going? Quiet, sir. Just how you like it, huh? Well, Vita, I believe you wanted me here for a reason. Let's hear it. You're about to tell him what brought you here when the doors to the bar open and Sophie walks in. All splendor and charisma. The patron's eyes are now glued to her, and so are the bartenders. Torque isn't happy with the sight. Well, this isn't what we agreed on, Vita. Care to explain? We had to improvise. Things got complicated. We had to improvise. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I believe Vita already told you why I'm here. Not in any detail, and the circumstances of our meeting were supposed to be different. So, Miss Langley, tell me why I shouldn't ask you to leave and kick out your protégé while I'm at it. You will like what I have to say. Yeah, I've heard that line 100 times. 99 of those ended with somebody getting hurt, and that's not something I'm in the mood for tonight. We're wasting time. There's a unique opportunity we should take advantage of, and we only have an hour or so to discuss it before it will be time to act. My driver is waiting outside. Wait a goddamn minute. First of all, I'm not going anywhere without Mia. That was the deal. Second, it's Vita who's supposed to do the driving, not your servant. Both serve me, so really, it's of little difference. The circumstances changed, and we had to adapt. Don't be stubborn. Foolishness does not suit you. I have a secure spot in mind where we can talk. I'll stop you right there. Torque is seething, but he's keeping a lid on his anger. His voice barely changes. My conditions were clear. The way I hear it, you want to break each one of them. I see no reason at all to agree to any of this. I believe I will be staying put tonight. You have places to be, yes? If you're throwing away the only chance you have at challenging Callahan, Don't be a fool. The lid comes off. Call me a fool one more time, woman, and that's not the only thing I'm going to be throwing. You're both acting like children. You're both acting like children. You need to put your differences aside and see the other's point of view. Both Sophie and Torque glare at you. No powers, just their personas are enough to make you feel like you prefer to be anywhere else but here. Who the fuck do you think you are? There's only one child here, Vita. You're their patron, Langley. What does that tell us? What are you implying, you insolent? Shots break the front window and a flashbang goes off in the room, changing the bar into a space of white light and ringing noise. You feel somebody tugging at your back and are thrown behind the bar. More shots ring out, bottles break, the TV shatters into pieces, the wooden bar splinters. Your sight comes back, but you think you've gone deaf because suddenly the room is silent. You see Torque beside you, and Marty, the bartender, bleeding out on the floor. You look over the bar. Sophie is standing there, her dress partially tattered, a visible hole in her leg. She is like the heart of a supernova, entrancing, unavoidable, beautiful, and terrifying. In front of her are 8 operatives looking like a private military force just standing there, paralyzed by Sophie's magnificence. Torque, you still there? Yeah. Would you kindly show your guests some hospitality? Sure thing. The Anarch is gone in the blink of an eye, and he reappears next to one of the soldiers. The armor-clad operative's head disappears in a puff of blood and bone. The same thing happens to the second, the third. You hear the radios go off on the other soldiers' shoulders, a panicked voice pleading them to wake up. The fourth head pops. The fifth. They finally realize what's happening, but it's too late. The sixth man is beheaded by what you now see is just Torque's bare-fisted punch. Torque stops by the seventh man, rips something off his neck, and bites down. Sophie walks over to the last man and has him kneel in front of her before biting as well. On your right, a man in full body armor emerges from the back door, raising his assault rifle. What the fuck? Grab his attention. Hey, over here. The man turns, and for a very scary split second, you are looking directly down the barrel of an automatic rifle. The next moment, an impact throws him all the way into the back room, and he crashes into the wall. Torque grins at you, standing the exact same spot where the soldier was just a second before. You comfy down there? Langley? Sophie wipes her mouth with blood and looks at him. That meeting still an item? Yes. I'll take it. Splendid. Torque walks behind the bar and checks on the bartender. You see the Anarch open his own wrist and feed blood to the wounded man. Drink up, Marty. It'll make you feel better. Get the hell out of here and wait for Mia. She's coming, and she'll know what to do. Torque? Yeah, coming. Take the back door. Vita, come on. You slink back into an alley behind the bar, leaving 10 bodies on the and one grievously wounded ghoul behind. Nobody stops you from circling around the block and finding your way to Sophie's car. Gregory drives away casually, as if this was just another late-night drive and not the crowning of a desperate, complicated evening. Sophie brings you all to a luxurious apartment in Manhattan's Upper West Side. The way she explains it, the vampire who owned it left the city a few years ago and gave away spare keys to a few trusted compatriots. It's been used sporadically since. Fancy. You like it? It always felt too modern for my taste, but what's important is that it's secure. As long as nobody followed your car here, or the fledgling. Trouble follows this one wherever they go. Even if that's the case, we have very little time to conduct our business here anyway. And we'll be leaving soon, I hope, so let's begin. It's better be worth all the trouble. Dealing with Kaiser than with Mia getting picked up by... I assure you, it will. You realize that if you finished that sentence, Torque would probably tear you a new one. Literally. Most likely. I have it on good authority that Boss Callahan is bloodbound to Prince Panhard. Torque sucks air in loudly. That's an accusation and a half there, Langley. Got proof? No, but we're just a boat ride away from getting it. What is that supposed to mean? Vita, the address that I procured from Kaiser was the meeting spot for Panhard's and the Baron's regular sharing of blood and other bodily fluids, if the rumors are true. Wait, Kaiser knew about this? Is there anything that insufferable clump of dead skin doesn't know in this city? He knows things, but only shares them if you pay. Neither the prince nor Callahan can touch him. He's so useful. Kaiser knows you wanted the address. Aren't you afraid Kaiser will betray you? Kaiser said saving me was in his interest. Kaiser said something about having plans for me, that he wanted me to make this meeting happen. That can't be good, right? That is an interesting point. I think Kaiser might be as interested in shaking up the status quo as we are. Chaotic landscape makes for a great market for him, unlike a static. I don't like playing into that creep's hands, but at least now I know I'm doing it. The devil you know and all that. What was the address he gave you? They meet regularly on Ellis Island. In fact, their next scheduled meeting starts in just around half an hour. Hot damn. I'm guessing you want to crash that meeting. Why? So you can see the proof for yourself. So that I can make sure too. And so that I have an extra pair of eyes for Panhard to consider when I present to her my ultimatum. The prince must abandon her seat and leave New York City. She can go wherever she pleases, but if she stays, the entire court will know, and the next prince might not look favorably on her path. Dealing with anarchs, especially so closely, is a punishable offense in the Camarilla, as I'm sure you've heard. So I did. Torque strokes his beard and looks intently at Sophie. What exactly are you trying to accomplish here? Say you remove Panhard, and I even remove Callahan. Then what? Torque, did you ever wonder why Callahan is keeping you in check? Because I wondered why the prince condemns anarchs during her visits to Elysium, but doesn't allow the ivory tower to challenge you. She, or they, have engineered this status quo not for the good of their sect, but for the private gain. They keep us all in line because it lets them hold on to power that much longer. And your goal is what? Make this Cold War turn hot? Not a great plan. You camis will get your butts kicked out of New York City in no time. If you anarchs manage to organize, which I doubt you will. At any rate, it's a risk I'm willing to take. I don't stand alone in this. This entire operation has been years in the making. Torque, I am offering you a chance to square things up with Callahan and level the playing field. If we get rid of these two, we can start on equal footing at the next stage of this dance macabre. Damn it. Damn. Why am I here listening to this? How do I factor into this plan? Aren't you copying the same status quo? How do I factor into this? Do I factor into this plan at all? My nail caught on a scab and now I'm bleeding. That's great. Yes, we will be taking you with us to Ellis Island, both as another set of eyes to witness the prince and baron in the act, and as a bit of added security. Ow. Sorry. Okay. I don't think Helen or Callahan would dare to lay a finger on me, but they will not find me unprepared. You know, after all those years spent in Callahan's shadow and taking part in all the kindred dick-measuring contests, I should expect a ruse. Some ploy to kill me in an out-of-the-way place. That's our inherent paranoia talking. My gut tells me it's time to get this show started. I do hope you have a boat nearby, Langley. Sophie smiles mischievously. Of course I do. It's waiting for us by the pier. Lead the way, then. Moonlight's burning. The three of you leave the apartment and walk toward the pier. Nobody seems to be following you. You get on a small patrol boat and double time it through the Hudson's cold, dark water. Out of all the places in New York City where the Prince and the Baron could meet, and it's Ellis Island, a landmark with a dark past. A museum on one hand, a dilapidated piece of history on the other. You leave the boat and make your way to the southern part of the island, paying no heed to the renovated tourist attractions on the northern side. You expected some resistance, a night guard, helicopter flying overhead, maybe an NYPD patrol boat. Nothing. The island seems completely deserted. It's clear this sets Sophie on edge. She's moving as quietly and subtly as ever. But you can see that she's eager to reach the particular house her intel pointed out. Torque is following suit, grimly determined, flashing his piercing gaze all over, still clearly uncertain that this isn't some kind of con. Finally, you see it. Light coming from a window in one of the buildings at the edge of the island. The three of you slowly creep closer to the building and take a look inside the window. There it is. Callahan kneeling in front of the prince, sucking on Panhard's wrist. Both fully clothed. A small blessing. Torque makes his move, and before Sophie can stop him, he bursts through the door. The building's door, sorry. It all happens very quickly. Torque grabs Callahan by the shoulders and throws him through the still open door. Callahan hits the ground hard. Torque appears on top of him and starts punching. You fucker! You piece of shit! Stop! The prince's voice takes hold for just long enough to make Torque relent, which the Baron uses to the fullest. He shoves Torque off of himself and tries to fight down. Prince, call off your lapdog. Langley, what is the meaning of this? The two anarchs break apart, both wounded, but neither is quite done yet. They look at one another with pure hatred. Kill the bitch, Helen, but leave the fledgling to me. Right after I deal with this shit stain, I'm gonna... A shrill, unpleasant laugh fills the air. You know who it belongs to. So entertaining. Truly, it feels almost a shame to break up the spectacle, but alas. Thomas? Who the fuck is this joker? Ah, yes. I don't think we met, though I did hear a lot about you, Mr. Torque. My name is Thomas Artuo, and I... Callahan uses this moment of uncertainty to strike. He's too slow for Torque, who throws the boss onto the lawn where the two exchange blows once again. Helen, if you'd be so kind as to ask your friend not to hurt our guest too much. Callahan, don't kill him. This time, Callahan comes out on top and grabs Torque in an iron hold. Your companion struggles, but can't quite break away. I will not be denied, Helen. Not this time. You will do as I command. And she will do as I command her, Douglas, old boy. What? Like I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, I feel like I need to break up this little spectacle. It's been going on for much too long. You think you're so smart, Langley? You and your clique figured out that there was something fishy going on all on your own, but you were always working with just a piece of the puzzle. Wasn't she, Vita? Sophie looks to you, shocked and disappointed. What are you talking about? What I'm talking about, you add. You fledgling, you don't know. How could you? Only I knew, and your sire, of course. They're the one who agreed to embrace you after some negotiation. You hear a scream and a curse. It's Callahan, whose arm has been nearly ripped off his body. Quirk breaks out of the Baron's grasp, but doesn't continue the attack. Instead, he's at the edge of the water in the blink of an eye and disappears into the Hudson. The only trace left of him is his fedora. Yeah, I'm finishing this. Another actor going off script at the very end, eh? No matter, let's bring us some amusement now that the production is almost wrapped up. He'll reach his allies. He'll tell everyone of this. Helen, even if we naively assume his nights aren't numbered now that he's in the SI's sight, this show must go on one way or another. Won't hurt to encourage leaks and speculation. Sophie looks at you. How could you, Vita? I saved you. Arturo suddenly appears next to her and slaps her in the face. Langley. What happened to your self-esteem? You can't really think a simple neonate has outplayed you. Or maybe this oblivious act is your way of groveling for mercy. What? You thought that being an expert chess player would always be enough. You never realized the people at the top simply flip the chessboard over and punch you in the face whenever they don't like how the game is going. Emotions to the remaining kindred. But the thing is, you weren't even adept at playing the game you knew. Vita, just another pawn placed on the board by my associate. You thought they were your piece since you took them in, but who gave you that idea? You returned to the night where you were judged by Prince Panhard. The woman in red, Sophie, somebody speaking to you, the man in glasses, the man standing before you now. This is cruel. We know what's going to happen. If only somebody would speak up for the poor child. They could be a useful tool for the Camarilla. Terror creeps to Sophie's face. Of course, those are not the words you heard, were they? No, you were already grasping for some opportunity to further your scheme. I put the bait out, and you took it. Hook, line, and sinker. After that, it was only a matter of time before you started using Vita as your errand girl. No one is quite as easy to track and monitor as a naive fledgling who's just learning the ropes. What is that? What is it that you want, Thomas? What do I want? Oh, boy, the answer is so simple, but so hard to put into words. Unstable stability, cutting-edge tales of thrills and intrigue that push it to the limit, and then return you to the tried and tested status quo, gently, infallibly. A system full of distractingly moving parts, which simulate conflict so convincingly that its users never feel the need to direct their energy toward upsetting the system. Achieving the eternal through the disposable. Building a city that's like a ship of Theseus, constantly changing its parts, yet always maintaining the same purpose, serving the same goal at all times. A large-scale infrastructure that has something like an exhaust system for the spirit, something that disperses the toxicity around instead of concentrating it in a single place. None of what you're saying makes the slightest bit of sense. Arturo is momentarily stopped in his tracks. He stares into the sky for a few seconds before a sad grin appears on his face. Spoken like someone who's never really had what it takes to make it in the big league. With the theatrical snap of his fingers, he gives his last sentence a sense of finality. Something's changed in the air. You could swear you saw a shadow move behind Sophie. Goodbye, Sophie. A person appears behind Sophie. You can't believe your eyes. It's Adelaide, holding garden shears in her hands. Dominate. Adelaide, stop. You hear the shears snip. I'm a little angry that my dominate didn't work. Sophie's red hair conceals her face as her head falls, separated from her shoulder. Silence. Artuo's unpleasant laughter erupts right next to you. Oh, Vita, your career is moving at a breakneck pace, moving up and up and up. Let me congratulate you on your promotion. What do you want from me? What's the rush? I was about to get to that. Helen, feel free to leave us and take the Baron with you. Thomas, I don't think you should. Shush. You're just being jealous. Adelaide, escort the prince and dear old Douglas, please. Sure thing, darling. You are left alone next to Sophie's body. You try not to look, but it's hard to ignore her lithe frame decomposing in front of your eyes. Congratulations. You've won this little game. You set out on a suicide mission and successfully brought down the power-hungry wannabe tyrant, even if it probably wasn't the way you imagined it. Now you're free to enjoy paradise again. Life after death, immortality, eternal youth. What they don't tell you is, of course, living in paradise is inherently sinful when not everyone can partake. But you have time to learn how to live with sin, don't you? He takes a melancholic look at the city skyline surrounding him, Statue of Liberty and the lights of Manhattan shimmering in the distance. You know, New York taught me to believe in fate. My unlife began right here, and it began with utter despair. My first instinct was to drown myself in books and keep reading and reading until literature gave me the piece of wisdom I needed to go on. Personally, I find reading a silly hobby in retrospect. I always had this minuscule hope that the next sentence I read could finally bring me the salvation, but it never did. It only gave me fuel for this elevated, righteous, intellectual suffering. But the more I read, the easier it was for me to boil every paragraph down to a power relationship. The characters' influence over each other, the writer trying to impress the reader, etc. The strings everyone pulls started to look like strands that weave into the fabric of fate. And once I saw this beauty, I got teary-eyed. My architect instincts kicked into overdrive. I didn't have to submit to fate. All I had to do was cooperate with it and wait for my time to shine. Give it my input wherever needed until it trusted me to do more. Thomas steps over what's left of Sophie, wiping his glasses with an elegant cloth from his pocket. And it did. Fate let me look after this city. With my architect's tools, I started quietly shaping the streets and corridors, while Kaiser and his ilk shaped the information flow. And among many tools this process gave me, one of them was a way to reliably come up with useful agents like you. The methods I used were crude at times, but the route was there. All you had to do was follow it. Some people write rulebook passages, the others plan city arteries. In the end, the effect is the same. Someone always follows. He puts on the glasses and gives you a long, hard look. You know, I have grown fond of you. You did so well. Even when that idiot Callahan tipped the Inquisition off, you still got out. I like that kind of resourcefulness. I could use that kind of resourcefulness. He uncovers his wrist. So, take my blood, just enough, so we can start off on the right foot as a sign of good faith. A sign that you're ready to play in the big leagues, ready to behold the sights I've prepared for you. What do you say, Peter? Oh, that's the end. Damned if you do. Rage against your fate and complete the game with any something. I don't like how that ended. Damned if you do, rage against your fate and complete the game with any character. I don't like that. So many locked achievements. Oh, I didn't. There's so many quest lines I didn't finish. There's 18 achievements I didn't get. Well, fuck. I don't know how I feel about that. To my awesome friend Cassie for giving me her insight about vampires lore. Awesome. Jesus. I have so many questions now, like, what the fuck? So was the prince not the prince? Like, how the fuck did Thomas get the prince and the baron to fucking do the shit he... What the fuck, Nuggets? So many questions. Made with Unity. Nicely done. So many questions! So. Nope, that's the end? Cool. Awesome. And I can't load. Also awesome. Great. Cool. Well, I'm gonna call it here. We are all done with Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. I could play more, but I don't think I'm going to. If I do, it'll probably be offline for myself. So, I'm gonna call it here. Ame is wanting my attention, and I still need to make dinner. So I'm gonna hop off here, and I will see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed that. I have so many questions, like, what the fuck? Could it go differently? Like, could I have, I don't know. Tamika showed up and saved me, so I'm happy about that. That was nice. It made me very happy. There's probably a better way to, like, complete quest lines and stuff, so I don't know. Well, kind of want to play more. Not right now, but at some point play more. Take a break from it, come back to it. I don't know if I'll play with the other character options, simply because I don't like playing as male characters. If I can avoid playing as a male character, I do. So, yeah, I'm gonna hop off here, go make dinner, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are in the world. Excuse me, and I will see you all later.